Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dungeons and Dragons: The Second Age. How are we all doing?
Uh,
Wow.
Great,
We're
great
doing
start.
Okay,
alright.
fair
no,
enough.
it's been a while since I've answered like that, but I feel it's appropriate.
Like things are alright.
Yeah, we're fine.
Moral quandaries.
Speaking of, who wants to go ahead and tell us exactly what happened last time we played?
Well, last time we played, what was it? We were outside we were about to approach the fortress in the mountains, fortress of the chromatics, I think.
Yep.
And as we went up, and we're like, "Hey, we're back. We want to talk."
You've missed a fairly big important part where you reasoned with the dragon. First of all,
Well, I mean, that's why I sort of said we started there. I think I was waiting for someone to say,
Yeah.
if I was
Like-
wrong, but like,
I thought I thought we started just after the reasoning with the dragon as well, but no worry.
okay, so yeah, we camped outside the like fucking hell first. You had to make me look like an idiot. Wait, no. Anyway, so yeah, we started outside the cave, waiting for the dragon, chilling, because we had our plan of, well, kind of a plan of just like, we're gonna try and talk with the dragon. It's probably gonna try and kill us, but we're gonna try and talk to the dragon. And through our discussions with it, it didn't try to kill us, but we now may have unleashed a dictator. Because through our negotiations and chatting, the younger dragon seems to have realized that, yeah, he kind of holds all the cards. At least, because he's the only one who can get outside. So yeah, he kind of did his typical arrogant "I'm in charge" thing, where it's like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna let you do this, but I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna make them know it's through my mercy that they're being allowed to pass. It's like, ugh.
But well, it was we did want them to show up. That was our request.
Yeah, we did. Because we wanted to at least have there be some kind of proof that, yeah, the dragon's not gonna attack us as we move. But yeah, so basically the dragon's now gone a bit egomaniac, dictatory, and we're like, okay, sure, we'll just have to come back and deal with this later because we don't have time right now. So off we went back to the fortress, and we were like, yo, we're back. We've got updates on the dragon situation, but they just turned all the lights off and pretended not to be home. And we were like, we can see you on the wall still, but no, they weren't budging. So we're like, so while we kept delivering demands, Arya went full Assassin's Creed stealth mode.
Still.
Snuck
Okay, but it was
in-
really good.
It was really good. She fucking sneaks in to the fortress, doesn't alert, manages to stay away from all of the guards, and just as Grim gives a last 5-minute warning to let us in, she finds the one person in the fortress who's friendly to us, the familiar face of what's his face, the blue dragonborn who we met on the
Vadak.
boat that one time, Vadak, that guy. She tries to convince him to give false orders to let us in with the promise that, no one's going to get hurt, but he just doesn't want to take that risk. So instead, Arya does the next best thing, which is full on go straight back to the keep where she'd been eavesdropping and just straight up assassinate the two spellcasters, because we had assumptions that maybe there was some freaky mind control shit going on. And yeah, it turned out there was. Arya literally straight up assassinated the two of them in basically one turn.
Well, one of them didn't die, I will say.
Well, yeah, one of them was knocked unconscious because they didn't die in that one turn. They just got bopped the next turn. That's why I said, like. Then there's a bit of an altercation where she doesn't explain why she's there, just keeps saying stand down for too long. But yeah,
Eventually I get through to them.
yeah. Eventually she gets through to them, and the captain, they let us in. Kelariis has a little moment with the Warlord where she heals the disloyal person who tried to control him, and it turns out that, yeah, she's gone slightly crazy. Not Kelariis, the shaman lady with the frill. So yeah, he tries to be like, honorable self-sacrifice, but no, she just tries to attack him. Yeah, she ends up dying, and he's like, and we explain the new situation with the dragon, and he's like, okay. So we're now just waiting for the dragon to arrive at dawn. At the base of, like, down the fortress, and then we're gonna show up and be like, yo, the dragon's here to talk.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the gist of it. If you want to know the rest, go back to the video that is now 3 weeks old and just watch that.
Okay. So, with that, we pick up where we left off. Outside of Brittleblade Fortress.
Oh, it has a name.
It does.
I suppose we never asked.
You did not.
Nope. We don't ask names in this
We
party.
didn't really have a lot of time to ask before, to be fair.
Yeah.
True.
Not exactly sightseeing.
Yeah. So, you take your rest outside of the fortress.
Oh yeah, did we have a long rest?
I think you had a short rest because it was still
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was late at night, early in the morning by the time you
Yeah.
sorted everything out.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, because I did all my short rest stuff. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody's short rested up. The next dawn comes, and yes. So I guess my first question to you is: do you camp using the Learman's tiny hut or not?
Most likely, because
I
like
mean, yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
it's like
The
despite
easiest way to do it.
but like there's also still a lot of potential threats.
Yeah.
So in that case,
'Cause, yeah, we're outside, so.
Arya, give me a perception check because I presume you're keeping watch.
Yeah.
Give me a perception check for you and your companion.
Oh,
Nice.
boys.
Okay.
Nice. What do your elf eyes see?
We are seeing everything tonight.
So as
Can hide from my sight.
as you are resting up, taking stock of the situation, you watch as the sun's rays begin to creep up over the horizon. You think about like waking your comrades in a couple of hours, or like in an hour or so. And right as you're watching like the sun's rays creep over the top of the mountains, you're against like sort of the backdrop of the hills. You see like a movement that draws your attention, and swooping low, you see the form of Khainnos Moonshadow descend to the base of this path, and then like conceal himself like at a low angle just among the trees. To the point where, like, the only reason that you can tell that he's still there is that the way that the trees are moving. Like, he is completely under the tree cover.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you realize that, despite their giant size and bold colors, dragons are incredibly well-adapted predators. Like,
I guess that Nyxes.
They hide almost as well as creatures who have the innate ability to hide themselves due to like patterns in their fur or whatever. Like these creatures are cunning and they know how to make use of cover. But he is there and he is watching your camp, waiting for you to make the first move.
All right.
Watching the bubble.
I guess I'll wake everybody up and we'll get going.
Okay.
And I'll point out the dragon when I wake him up. Just be like, he's here.
Cool.
Okay. So yeah, the four sleepers are roused from their slumber. And you make your way back to the path. Are you meeting with Khainnos first, or are you going towards the fortress first?
We
I
should.
think we meet with the dragon first, right?
Yeah, we meet the dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause yeah, they know the dragon's coming at dawn, so they'll see us and take the message back, I assume.
Yeah. So you approach where Khainnos is hiding. And Khainnos remains concealed until you're quite close, and then sort of slips out from among the trees. Regards you all with a long look and says, "I'm ready. But I warn you, at the first sign of any treachery..."
Oh, it won't come to that. We make sure of it.
Then lead the way.
What? Oh. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we just start leading the way.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
Marching towards the gate.
march up towards towards the fortress. Khainnos follows behind you, take a good couple of steps back, and the moment he sort of you get to about the sort of range where you're within maximum range of the crossbows, and Khainnos is immediately defensive. Every step he takes is a lot sort of slower and measured, and he's watching everything.
If we notice that, I guess. Well, you don't have to go any closer than this. We can make their representatives come out.
I think that would be best.
Okay. Well, I guess then we'll continue to approach without Khainnos getting any closer.
Okay.
I assume we're in view of the archers already, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they can see the dragon.
The way the fortress is positioned, pretty much the entire valley is within vision of the archers. But yes.
Which, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's just making sure.
Yeah. So as you make your way up towards the gates, when you're maybe 100 feet from the gates, you already see the gates start to open, and Warlord Vivir's and his two bodyguards and a number of other troops follow behind him. Most of them armed with sort of large shields and long pikes. Some of them carrying crossbows, and Warlord Vivir has sort of his greatsword strapped across his back, but he also has he's got a long metal staff that he is walking with like it's a walking stick, but he clearly doesn't need it.
I mean, it's the coolest way to carry a staff.
Yes.
It's just a fact.
But yeah, the party approaches you, like stops a short distance in front of you, parts, and Warlord Vivir steps forwards. Nods to you, Kelariis, like looks to the rest of the group and says, "Well, I see we're telling the truth then."
Yeah. Well, we kind of assume that you might want to. Well, you might want to have some words, and so may the dragon. If you do not wish to say anything to the dragon, we do request that you, like, at least give it a polite greeting.
Politely greet your dragon.
Please don't greet this dragon.
I would be remiss if I passed up this opportunity to converse with an elder.
Excellent.
I'm guessing you probably know more of how to engage with them politely than we did.
Well, I guess then we'll advance to the dragon.
Although, should we tell the warlord its name first?
Yes, probably a good
Oh,
idea.
yes, that's a good
Yeah.
mention, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Elizabeth will tell the warlord the dragon's name.
The warlord looks at you, looks like puzzled for a moment, and sort of says, "I would not deign to refer to an elder by their given name unless they gave me permission, but I appreciate the sentiment."
Yeah. The title at least seems good to know.
Yeah, you head back towards Khainnos, who, like, seeing like the column of units approach, sort of leans his head back onto his shoulders, like looking down upon the group and like fanning out his wings, like looking, making himself imposing, basically. You notice immediately, Grim in particular, that a number of these soldiers falter in the face of this dragon. They look visibly afraid, which is
That's fair.
perhaps
Right.
understandable, but something that you perhaps wouldn't tolerate from your own.
No, but like, I think in this case that might work to our advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
It's,
Dragons
you
can
feel
be
more
like, "Ooh."
comfortable if you're feared, usually. Maybe as a dragon.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the
Yeah.
dragon, but I think
Yeah.
Khainnos will at
But
least appreciate that.
also, as we're, oh yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
as we're
I was just gonna-
approaching, like, I will we'll like keep a somewhat larger than usual distance before we stop. Like as we're approaching, like you're not gonna walk all the way up to it. Like probably
Yeah.
keep like 20 for maybe even up to 30 feet.
30 feet from the
Depending-
dragon.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, like Warlord Vivir probably like sees you because you're walking in front of him. Probably sees you stop, like walks up to like stand next to you, at the distance that you stop at, and with a single hand signal to all of the men behind him, drops to one knee in a stance of reverence, towards the dragon. Yeah, Warlord Vivir like bows his head, and then probably in Draconic just says aloud, for those of you who speak Draconic, noble ancestor, it is an honor to speak with you. To which sort of Khainnos it leans back a little and sort of says, "It is good to see that some still remember their manners."
Damn, talk about a low jab.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking
whatever.
about.
It's fine.
At which point, Warlord Veer sort of like looks up and says, he probably reverts to common, and says, "I understand from speaking with these mercenaries that we are to barter for our safe passage." At which point, like, Khainnos sort of like looks to you, well, I guess to the four of you, and says, "Yes, I believe those were the terms."
I'm like trying real hard to remember what exactly we promised, or like what the deal was that we came up with.
The deal essentially is that like you will take the shortest distance out of the mountains.
Yeah.
But like Khainnos is like basically like looking at you to officiate. Like he is delegating the task of officiating this to your group.
Yes. Well, but like I was just thinking, like, wait, is there something important that I forgot about?
No.
No.
Because in general, like, because we kind of worked out what we wanted with the dragon already.
Yeah, we gave him his food.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, but we haven't technically officiated the, or we haven't sealed the thing with the chromatic.
Yes, no. There has been no inter-party agreement on the terms that you discussed because you waited until talking to the chromats.
Yeah. So yes, indeed, I believe the proposal that we came up with boiled down to, in return for receiving passage through the mountains, you'll be granted what do we call it? We didn't say control over the domain. It's not quite what we said. It'll be. Oh, what did we say?
Well, it was basically that he will be left to his own device. Like Khainnos will be left to be to have free reign over the territory, basically.
Yeah, and in exchange, you'll gain free reign over the territory. Well, was the notable, like, exception, of course, leaving from harassing the local villagers. But gaining the rights to any released livestock or escaped livestock was a free game.
Warlord Vivir just nods to this and says, "Such terms are acceptable, Elder." Khainnos sort of like, I guess like preens a little, like ruffles his like the scales at the back, like that basically nest behind his ears. Like you, I guess it's probably like not even insight check levels of obvious that he is enjoying this. Like, he has never been treated this important before. He's always been told how important he is, but he's never been treated this way.
We are creating such a monster here.
Yep.
Yeah, like, we're gonna have to come back and deal with this in the future, but
Oh,
right now,
One day we have to come back and kill this guy, but right now, we just have to let him go.
Well, perhaps if we, like, once we have time, we stop by occasionally and we push him to a more gentle path.
God, I fucking... honestly, it would be the dream. It would be the dream.
The dream is to make this guy chill out. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen though.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but that is a future us issue.
Yeah, that's not a now us issue.
So
unfortunately,
magic to do.
Khainnos preens and just sort of says, Well then, if the terms are acceptable, then I would suggest you depart as soon as you are ready. And the sooner the better. Warlord Vivilis, like a lot of looks up and says, "It will take us a while to prepare. We have many civilians and not enough supplies for the road. But the moment we are ready, we will depart post haste." At which point, Khainnos just sort of again like shuffles a little bit and says, "Fine, but don't take too long." Probably turns back to the rest of you and says, "I take it then our business is concluded and I can return to my lair."
If you're satisfied, I believe our business here is concluded.
Yeah, I think with that he turns around, like fans up his wings and just like takes off directly up into the sky. Like sort of there's a strong like blast of wind as he like gusts up into the air that some of you sort of like have to like adjust your position to like sort of stay standing. But he like shoots up into the air, and like many of the soldiers like who are just sort of like kneeling down, like not trying not to look at the dragon, like flinch at this and then they sort of like look up as it flies away. A moment or two passes before Warlord Vivir like gets up from his kneeling position, like dusts himself down, and the rest of his troops stand up with him. Turns to the rest of you and says, "Well, that seemed to go well, although the exchange was not quite what I was expecting."
What were you expecting?
The old stories tell that the elders liked to wax lyrical, for want of a better word, when negotiating. There were often grand exchanges that spanned hours, if not days.
I believe it may be due to this one's lack of experience.
And he did not grow up in the older times, by our understanding.
Wow. It seems a lot has changed in this world. I think, like, at this point, he turns to. I think I expect he just turns to Kelariis and says, "You felt no compulsion to bow before an ancestor."
Not this shit.
Not this one. No. No. Respect I will show until given a reason not to, but I feel very little compulsion to bow to anybody. There are very few exceptions to that.
Not even the closest you will ever come to a living god.
I think I just give like a half, like a, I guess a kind of a smirk, not a smirk, a smirk's too mean, just like a half smile and just, I don't know if you'd believe me if I said that I've come closer.
Yeah,
But
fair as
no,
well, I think Elizabeth giggles a little bit at that because she knows.
Yeah, but no, I believe that respect is still due. He hasn't given us a reason to be hostile or rude, and I see no reason to be at that point.
There is like this one thing I'm going to mention. Did anybody like insight check like how the dragon was gonna was looking at things? Because we kind of all, as players, we all have a hunch that it's going to cause problems, but as characters, we haven't really looked into
Oh, we
it.
did last time. We
Did
insight
we?
checked him
I
last
th-
time when
I-
we were
Oh,
talking.
I think last time you at least some of you realized that hey, this guy might
Yeah.
be trouble in the future.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure we
we
did
know
it
that
in character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Just
I think-
making sure.
I think it was Arya and Elizabeth that ended up getting that
Yeah.
insight check
Oh,
like
wait,
Yeah.
actually,
done. Whereas
Yeah,
me
look.
and Minnie were just like, or
Yeah, you can
me
see
and Grim
here,
were just
I
like,
got- yeah, because I got a 22 and Arya got a 26 on insight checks. We all
Yeah.
did a round of insight checks
Oh,
to figure
yeah.
out what this dragon was about.
yeah, seems legit.
I mean,
Uh,
but none of you thought he was legit. It's just that some of you realized he was not going to betray you right away, but then some of you realized that he's definitely planning something for the future.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like none of you trust him implicitly. You're not that
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna build his power and try and wriggle out of this.
And we might have to come wrap him up a few times just to let him know that we are capable.
I mean, I'd rather only rough him up. If it comes to the point where we have to rough him up, I'd rather only do that once.
Well, yeah.
But anyway,
Oh well.
I suppose we should plan a route.
Yes.
Warlord Veered nods at that and says, "We need time to get all of our supplies together. We have a lot of things to move. We have personnel, equipment, and not a lot of supplies with which to do it. We had planned on resupplying here, but with the dragon in the area, that hasn't exactly been practical."
Understandable. Say, how long do you expect to need before you're ready to set off?
To mobilize 50 people. A few days, perhaps.
A few days is not that bad.
Mhm.
Um, uh,
I guess.
I just,
So I guess at this point, Elizabeth might turn to look at Kelariis and say, well, food supplies should at least be something we could potentially grant.
They don't
Oh.
last. But think wait. hold on.
I'm like trying to think back. Did we or did we not say that we need to help, join them across, or did we only say we'd help them with the dragon?
I don't think you ever promised to go with them.
Okay.
I think it was offered
Yeah.
as an option to get them to leave.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh.
yeah,
to,
but then
to leave the
instead,
village alone.
but then we dealt with the dragon instead of.
Yeah, I think that they were more willing to have us deal with the dragon. Yeah.
Because you weren't sure whether you wanted to go back to the village or whether you wanted to accompany them.
Right.
I have an idea. How many villages are there nearby?
Depends how you define nearby.
Um,
Nychaki is the closest village by a reasonable amount, but if you go a little further ways down the mountain, there are more villages.
Because I was thinking, perhaps we could bargain for food instead of take it. If we could bargain for some supplies, that might help them out. And if we go do the bargaining, it might go a little smoother. And then, well, it would be our money we'd use for it, but that's the problem.
Although I almost feel like we should.
I take it you're having this conversation off to one side.
Oh well, this was not necessarily off to one side. This is just think. Well, I guess I may have turned away from the Warlord a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking out loud.
Yeah, I'm just determining whether you are talking where the Warlord can hear you or not.
Yeah, he can most likely hear it. I'm not
Okay.
hiding it or anything.
Though I do wonder if it might be best avoiding directly passing through the villages.
No, we're not traveling with the group. But what I'm suggesting is that we try and secure some supplies, because it's going to take them a few days to get ready.
You mean, well, yeah, beforehand, yeah.
Although perhaps before we promise anything like that, we should maybe check in, see if things aren't exploding back home.
Oh, I was like, here? What happened here? What did I miss?
I don't think Nychaki would be able to provide much, but
I mean, the other thing is, I don't know how many of them will be particularly willing.
yeah.
Well,
Or able, for that matter.
like that was I was kind of hoping they might be able, but like I've no clue how tight supplies are in the mountains.
Yeah. Also, out of character, I now need to clarify. Like, are we like leading them out to like the places we suggested now, or are they
No.
going?
We're trying to figure out what we're doing next in character, basically.
Okay.
So if you,
Because like I don't know if we're going to be leading them to a spot that we think's okay, or if we're just
although
taking them out to one way of the mountains and then saying good luck.
well, we had a rough area in mind, but we not something we should probably figure out a spot on the map. But like we'll just assume we'll find a spot like near the border, with some try to keep them away from existing villages, because we were.
We don't want it. We also don't want it too out of the way, because unless they're completely self-sufficient, and isolated villages isn't going to do too well.
No, but like we're hoping that they will be able to become self-sufficient.
True.
Because like if we bring them to this side of the mountains, I doubt there's going to be too much between the two mountain ranges. There's probably going to be small villages, maybe like if even.
Yeah. So to give an idea of the general lay of the land, the mountains here, quote unquote, aren't exactly mountains. They are more like it's essentially where the land comes up into like an outcropping of like large hills. It is it's an elevated region that is mostly like sort of uninhabited. Like there are like farming communities that do use the hills, but it's mostly like it's like more sort of territory, but with like a bit rougher. So there's not much that you can really like grow or farm on it.
Be more hospitable than mountains, though, I guess.
Yeah, more hospitable than mountains. Yeah, but essentially, like between the two here, it's lots of small farming communities. There's lots of not quite like floodplain, but like generally sort of rich, like soil and general arable territory.
So like if they could get enough land, they could easily live there.
Yeah. But the important thing to draw the distinction on is, I'm just going to draw it very loosely on the map, is essentially like down like this is where the like the Dragonborn border is.
Yeah.
And the closer you get to that border, the more there are draconic sympathetic settlements.
I guess that makes sense.
And the closer you get to here, you get more populated. You get Rorksgate, you get Renshire, you get that general sort of like the built-up farming region that was once sort of like part of an empire, but is now just like fiefdoms.
See, the problem is, I think maybe we can get away with this spot, but like otherwise, I think only like along the basically along the mountain range where we can really get away with.
Like at the base of it, on the opposite side of the border, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like that way we're taking them. Like we'll still be taking a bunch of land that somebody might kind of want or own technically somewhere, but like it's not going to fight over kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're more likely to be able to integrate into the existing communities on that side. Yes.
Yeah. Like we want the base of the mountains or like the base of the hills, because they still want arable land. I'm guessing.
The only downside is because we were kind of relying on one of their sorcerers being able to send message in case of problem.
Well.
Tough shit. I mean, they kind of fucked that one for themselves. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much an unavoidable problem.
Yeah. We'll just have to.
Because I can almost guarantee there's going to be at least one assault at some point.
Well, this is what our agent is for.
what?
I see. Spying on cults is one thing.
True.
Spying on a foreign military.
Also, it's not
Oh,
like she has the the ability to send messages quickly. It would take her as long to
True.
get us a message as literally anybody else running a message.
No.
True.
So, like, there's not really any point, and I think that she's better placed elsewhere anyway.
I think at this point in the conversation, Vivir has already like sort of turned to the rest of his troops and is just giving them orders to prepare things in Draconic. He seems to be waiting for you to finish the exchange that you're having, but he is giving orders while you have this conversation.
Perhaps we should we shouldn't decide everything for them. We can give them some of the choices. So the options would be next to the mountain, probably the least conflict, and relatively easy. Then in like the hills, which is going to be tough to set up, but if they make it, then they're probably going to be undisturbed pretty much.
Yeah. Also, maybe not necessarily like right in the middle of the hills, like.
No, but like
still get the.
If it's going to be in the hills, it's going to be in the hills, kind of. You know,
Yeah,
it's going to be tough regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess
there's more you can do than just farming. You might be able to find something else.
like I think if they set up in the hills, that one likely assault might not never happen.
Yeah. So basically, do they want a prosperous, like a fairly easy to set up place that they're still quite close to the border, or do they want to travel further from the border to get more secure?
Yes.
But
Well,
less
that's
stable.
what we're gonna. I think that's a decision for the Warlord to make.
Exactly. I guess we might as well say we can get him to one of those two locations.
At least that's what our suggestions would be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the issue if the Warlord has time, we'd propose it. But
Yeah, so you finish your conversation. Like the Warlord finishes giving instructions to his troops, turns, and just says, "So,
here's what's what the deal is. We've got there are some options as to where you could settle, both with different advantages and disadvantages. The easiest to get to and probably the most fertile grounds are basically on the other side of these mountains. However, we assume that is also going to put you in the most likely position that like the army might try something. Like if we can help it, we'll stop it. But like communication might be tricky.
It'll be closer to the border.
And then we have another option which we think might be safer. However, it is a little further, and it is going to be in a hilly environment, which, well, as you might imagine, life is going to be tougher. The thing what we're thinking is if you have a way to communicate with with us quickly, we kind of assumed initially that your spellcasters would be able to do such a thing. However, those seem out of the question now. If you have any other way to communicate quickly, that might be the better option, like the fertile grounds near the mountains. Would give you the best chance of integrating with other villages and be just generally accepted as well. But yes, it would be up to you to make the final decision on that. We don't want we want to help you, but we don't want to take over every detail of your existence. Some freedom is in order here. I think. Or the room is available to choose, unless you have any better suggestions.
Your desire to assist us is admirable, but you are correct in saying that we must make our own decision here. Whilst I may have lost my closest advisors, there are others who perhaps are better suited more for the arts of farming and homemaking than perhaps those who have been used to leading campaigns for the last few years. I will discuss with them and see what they think, but right now our concern is crossing the mountains.
Well, it's always the reason why we bring it up is because it's nice to have a goal in mind. It's nice to know where you're going when you're through the mountains. But till then, yes. I guess the real question is there anything else you would like some assistance with? Because I would be lying if I said we didn't quite expect to be here this long. We have other things that are somewhat important, but we don't want to abandon you. If there's anything you can think of.
We will accept whatever you are prepared to give us. At the moment, my chief concerns are in food and transportation. 50 people on foot through the mountains is not exactly the ideal way to travel, and doubles the pressures on our food supplies. Having animals to travel with would certainly go a ways to help that, but I am also aware that procuring those under these circumstances is not exactly an easy task. If you can help with either of those, then we will accept any help that you can give, but I would not begrudge it of you if you decided that your job here was done.
I think the animals, I'm not sure how we would arrange. However, food supplies might be something we can help with a little, at least.
Well, I'm at least in the area. I can assist with providing food for whatever days I'm here. They won't last, but they'll at least be an extra day's worth of supplies that you can take on the road with you.
I would not begrudge that assistance. One day's less food to prepare is time that we can spend elsewhere. My lieutenants think they can have everything prepared in 3 days. I am aiming for 2.
Well, what I think is going to happen is, Lars, could you make your food now, and then we just see if we can procure some food, come back, and then, would that work for today, or would you need to, how long does it last?
It only lasts for 24 hours.
Oh, so you could do today's food.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, yeah, because would it work if you cast it multiple times?
I would have to, because it doesn't provide enough food for everybody if I
exactly.
only cast it once. But it's fine. I
Yeah, in
don't.
theory, casting it 3 times does 45 people.
Yeah, but they have 50, don't they?
They do.
Give or take,
Yeah.
yes.
I guess we can get some food as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather just like overcast it a little bit
Yeah.
and.
No. What I meant is we can just eat some of it.
Oh
If
yeah,
you
we
over-
can also
when you
eat.
over-
Yeah,
when you
we
overcast.
can also
Yeah.
eat.
Even if
There's an idea. We cast it now. We we take some ourselves for the road, and then we give the rest to Nychaki. Genius. Although maybe.
I mean,
I mean, a fourth
I
cat
think
makes
like
60.
I look specifically to like our group, not to like ignore Vivir, but just like as an aside to our group. If we're planning on coming back here, I wouldn't mind staying for a bit to help with Nychaki and doing a bit of repairs and work there. If you're coming back with other supplies anyway.
yeah, perhaps we can find something for them to hold. Well, okay, I think you can head off there. Then and we sure. I will admit, I was kind of thinking your griffin might be useful for transportation, but
Transportation
of the
for-
goods.
I mean, I can send my griffin with you. That's not an issue.
That's true. Okay, so we'll have. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna you can help out the village. We go to the second closest village, see if they have anything to spare, and hopefully they accept money or something. Maybe there's something else we can offer. Then we bring back what we've got, and hopefully it makes a meaningful difference. And then we head off. And then if we have a bright idea, I'm sure we can find these people again. That said, I guess I see how that might be. No, this can work. This can work. For dusk. If once you have found a location you're going to settle, if you can send a message to the Amber Eagle in any way, shape, or form, we'll be just to indicate it so that we know that we can contact you and perhaps help you out a little by sending over some supplies or something. That won't be. Don't expect immediate supplies. This would be slow. This would be probably weeks. Like a slow process, but we did
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
But yeah, we would definitely at least respond to it. You would not need to disclose your location in the message, because I understand that might be a risky move that early
on. Vivir considers this for a moment and says, I would prefer for our people to stand on their own feet, but I will not turn down the offer of assistance where it is possible. I think opening a dialogue between our peoples is definitely. It is a consideration that I will make.
And yeah, well, if you we'll put and if we'll just put the burden of first contact on you, and then if you make contact, we'll do our best effort to contact you in return, which shouldn't be too hard on our side. But with a little magic. But yes, we should get going. You have plenty of things to do. And unless there's anything else you need to know, I think we've got a plan. Oh, yeah, of course, Kelariis needs to summon food first.
Yeah. Excuse me, I just spend 1,000,000 spell slots. Yeah, I'm gonna cast it enough time. They'll have extra.
Okay.
But I think 4 is what I'll need to expend, which
Yep.
means I'll have to dip into higher, but that's okay.
That's fine. Yep.
I don't foresee getting into massive combat, I hope, but who fucking knows?
Okay.
Fine.
It's fine. You can at least like hit with big sword.
So yeah, you spend some time casting the spell, producing food and water. You like as it appears, the chromatic soldiers like take it up and like line it up and begin like dividing it into portions for individuals, and then like a portion of the keep central like walkway space is set up as like a makeshift canteen, and you watch as like handfuls of people like begin to sort of like trickle out of the many side buildings, and these like much like the people you saw previously when you that Arya saw previously when talking to Vadak. These people are just like sort of packed into buildings, like clearly not designed to house this number of people. And they sort of like there's such a wide variety of like the kind of people that are here. It's very clear that they're very much refugees. And it makes you realize actually that with the defeat of the company that you fought in Nychaki, the civilians now outnumber the soldiers like almost 2 to 1. These people are like really not in a great state in terms of like fending for themselves. But yeah, they seem very appreciative of the food. They don't seem like undernourished. They definitely have been on rationed food for a long period of time, but they're not starving. It's clear that for his flaws, Vivir has done a very good job of keeping these people alive.
I can respect that.
Well, that was his main goal, so I guess he did all right in that sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, you spend some time doing that before rejoining your comrades and making your way back to Nychaki.
I think these people must think we're just actually crazy. They're like, you could create food and talk to dragons and do all this other shit. And it's like, yep.
Yeah, we're like the weirdest humanitarian mercenaries that ever existed.
Yep.
Even the phrase humanitarian mercenaries doesn't quite sound right.
No. Doesn't really make any sense.
That sounds like some kind of dictator phrase. Don't worry, we got some.
Some humanitarian
Our new
mercenaries.
military. Do not worry. We have hired these humanitarian mercenaries.
Yeah.
We're
Everyone's
awful.
like,
We're awful is all we are.
Keep peace and order. That's fine. No.
Yeah. We're at least a nice dictatorship. If we are a dictatorship, which we're not.
We're not a
I don't think we're
dictatorship.
dictators.
Exactly. We're allowing these guys to have free elections.
I
Dictatory.
feel like you're more like a much less PG Thunderbirds. You're a private organization that go out and help people in need, but you're kind of who you help is entirely like based on like your own personal beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea that we're the Thunderbirds, though.
I mean, you basically are. You have your base in like an unoccupied area, like literally in a DMZ. You have a base in the DMZ, and literally the moment trouble comes, you go there with your super advanced magic and solve the problem with brute force.
And what about it?
Okay. In our defense, we've tried not to just go the brute force route anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have we succeeded? Debatable.
I'd argue.
We tried.
It takes time
I'd
to
argue-
adjust, okay?
I'd argue when we went halvesies this time. We did some brute force, and then we did diplomacy.
Yeah. We're learning.
We went halfsies on brute force.
You went halfsies.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't just
Oh,
murder the
God.
dragons, so...
Exactly.
Oh no. Well, but at least people are happy with their food, I guess.
It always feels good to feed people.
And because I also realized ooh, we don't need to send Kelariis alone necessarily, but if she wants to go alone, that's also fine.
I mean, I'd assume the people of Nychaki would like to see Tallithsyr as well.
Well, you all
Sarah, yeah.
you all have to pass through Nychaki to get to the other villages anyway, because
Also, yeah,
Nychaki is literally on the
Oh.
other side of the pass.
Oh, okay.
we have to go through the pass. Boom, there's Nychaki, and then some of us are going to leave Nychaki for.
Yeah,
wherever
some
next.
of you are going to continue to head down the mountain to the
But
next
it'll
set
be
of
very late
villages.
by the time we get to Nychaki, so we might just sleep at Nychaki.
It will be evening by the time you reach Nychaki.
Okay, evening.
But I think there's one small adjustment in our plan. We can ask for advice in Nychaki as to where to go for supplies.
Yes.
That's true.
Ah.
Yeah. So you all arrive.
Go to the neighboring villages.
You all arrive in Nychaki, where again you are greeted by Creve and the rest of the crew, who are very very sort of pleased to see you. Creve, like as he sees you, Kelariis like walks up to you and sort of says, "I take it everything went well then."
About as well as could be expected with everything, with all these moving parts, but yes.
I have to admit you had me worried, but I think secretly we were all hoping that you'd get there in the end.
I think I just give like a toothy grin, like it may not seem like it, but I promise that we have somehow managed to face worse.
He sort of shrugs and says, my capacity for worse is... Well, let's just say I'd rather not dwell on it.
I understand.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Still, well, now that you're all back, how do we thank you? I know Tallithsyr said you wouldn't want any kind of reward or anything like that, and it's not like we have anything to give you, but I feel like we at least owe you something.
Well,
I don't
think-
believe we need anything more than knowing that you'll be able to continue on and do your best to survive here.
yeah, that will probably do. There is one small thing you could still do for us, but that's more of just general advice.
Whatever I can do.
So we're looking for some supplies, quite as many as we can get within a day or so. Where would we even go about getting those in this region?
Supplies? What do you mean?
Food, mostly.
Food,
Food.
like, because we understand that, well, like you're in no shape to have spare, or if you have any to spare, it's probably going to be a significant amount. Or we're looking for.
You could try Starin. It's a short ways away. It's the closest thing we've got to a market around here. How much do you
Market's not-
need?
We're hoping to find at least, what would it be, 50 meals?
50?
But hopefully upwards to like 150, 200.
Wow, okay. I'm not
like
sure.
50 will, like, if we can find I guess even 25 would do. But like, it's just to give you a rough indication of what we're looking for.
Starin's, yeah, it's probably your best bet.
Well, we'll see what they've got, and then they've got what they've got, and if they don't got it, then, well, we tried.
Yeah, he sort of he looks kind of like a little sheep and says, "I'm sorry, that's really all the best I can give you."
That's
Honest,
quite alright, don't worry.
it's more or better than what we had.
Yeah, it's at least a place to start.
I suppose, whilst you're there, you could even do us a favour, if you don't mind. Just
Well,
tell folks down there that we're all right, and that, well, we haven't got much right now, but we're still probably going to be looking to trade sometime.
Pass on the news, basically.
Yeah.
We can do that.
That said, is there anything we should bring from there? Because I know you're kind of lacking in things right now.
I mean,
'Cause if you need some food yourself, we don't would happily sacrifice some of that food to you first.
I mean, I won't say no. I mean, we've got enough to be going on with, and the well's still pulling up clean water, so we're all right for that front.
Well, in the meantime, while they're away, I can also provide food, just to help you preserve what supplies you have.
Everybody gets some of Kelariis' magic food.
Look!
Yeah, it could.
Everybody gets bland magic.
Bland food magic.
Look, it's food!
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. I'd probably still happily eat it.
Creve just sort of gestures open palmed and says, "Well, again, I'm not going to turn away your kindness."
Well, I think we can. We should probably head off, or as soon as we can, just to make sure we make it.
I think at this point, Tallithsyr stands at your shoulder, Grim, and says, "I'd like to stay and help as well if I can."
Oh, yes, of course. Feel free to. I think. Well, I was gonna say us three able-bodied, but I feel like at least two of us are able-bodied enough to carry supplies.
Yeah.
Damn!
Um,
Wow.
Hey, I can carry plenty of things.
yeah,
I might not be using my arms, but I can still carry things.
Yeah.
I think
Tensis floating
let the
disc,
bag of
baby.
holding do all the
Floating
holding it can.
disc.
Oh, if you have floating disc, then
I have a floating disc.
And Lyra can help us carry stuff if need be.
Yes.
Okay, you
Aster
good. You
can
said
probably
it.
go along as well.
Yeah.
I think at the suggestion of carrying things, Lyra just looks at you, just sort of rolls her eyes and goes,
We all have to help out, man. We all gotta do our part.
She's so sassy.
Wow.
I love her.
She's not
mean,
a pack horse.
Yeah. She's not a mule.
No. But she is a rather large wolf.
"Yeah."
She's a
Who
very
can
big
carry
wolf.
many things.
she'll be the fastest pack wolf of the West.
Fastest pack wolf in the West.
God.
God's sake. But yeah, don't worry. I've got a floating disc. That thing carries loads.
There you go.
But now what we need to do is hope that they actually have loads that we need to carry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm more
Yeah.
worried about.
I don't think we'll find. What is it? I don't think we'll find 500 pounds worth of food.
No. That seems
No.
a little excessive.
But that's a good thing because it means it all fits on Tensor's floating disc.
Well,
In that case, I might keep Aster here unless you want the transportation.
The thing is,
But I
Aster is a lot faster than Tensor's floating disc.
Ah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Tensor's floating disc can only move
think
I
it's
mean, it
30
moves as fast
feet.
as I do.
oh, rip.
It just when it doesn't really move on its own. It just stays within 20 feet of me.
Oh, right.
So it moves as fast as I move.
Yeah, if you want to meet the Warlord's 2-day schedule, you're gonna need Aster to help out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, that's also why we're gonna head off immediately.
Creve nods and says, if you leave now, head down the mountain and follow the stream, you should make it to Astarin by the time the sun goes down.
Oh.
I guess we'll sleep whilst we'll just spend the night there, and then we'll hopefully get something in the morning.
They have a small thing in way of lodgings, but
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We can make our own if needs be.
Nature has plenty of lodging, fortunately.
True.
I mean, I also can just make lodging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but like,
fairly small, but it's lodging.
okay. Grim, Elizabeth, Arya, you set off towards Astarin. Yeah,
Is it faster to take Asta though? Because Asta can't fly all of us there.
no, but Asta can move faster while laden than the rest of you can.
Ah, true.
Just because of raw physical strength.
True.
And the fact that it's size class large.
Who's stronger, the Griffin or Lyra?
Good question.
It's a great
strength. Look at the strength stats.
I think it's gonna be close.
Asta is by 1 point.
Oh.
Lyra's nearly as strong as a griffin.
To be fair, Aster does have to fly, and that's some different muscles going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that said, flying creatures aren't known for their strength most of the time.
No, but
Yeah.
No.
Anyway.
Griffin got big, strong legs. Legs?
I mean,
Leg.
I mean, yeah, a griffin would have big strong legs
Legs.
because it's got fucking lion legs.
Yeah.
Lions
True.
are fucking strong.
Yeah. So you, the three of you, arrive in Asterin with your griffin. There is a small inn there that, like, basically they have a bunker room in the main tavern floor, which you can rent for a couple of copper pieces, if you want to, or you can sleep outside in the dome.
I feel like just out of respect for them, we should sleep indoors and pay the inn. Because
Okay.
it feels rather cheap to just be like, we could sleep
Yeah,
in the
we're
inn,
good.
but like,
So
oh, by the way, we're gonna buy all your supplies as well.
2 copper coins per person.
Yeah, let's round it up to a silver.
Oh, you're tipping.
Grim just can't be bothered to carry the change.
You're just
Yeah.
that's just tipping them 66%.
No, it isn't. There's 3 of you, two copper pieces.
You said 2 copper pieces per
Yeah.
person.
So
Yeah.
like,
And
it's
that's 6 people.
it's 2/3 of it. Yeah, it's 66.
Yeah, it is. It's 66%. My maths isn't wrong.
Oh,
here.
yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, no, I calculated that wrong.
Fine.
It's fine.
I know what 2/3 of 6 is.
Anyway. So, Kelariis and Tallithsyr, what are you doing anything in particular here, or?
I mean, I think it's just helping out wherever possible. Like, I know that
Yeah.
they're still doing a little bit of rebuilding, and if they need stuff, look, you got 2 strong,
Yeah.
Be strong.
beefy, and slightly less beefy dragonborn here. What do you want us to do?
Let me rephrase. You are here helping. Is there a scene that you want to have while you are helping?
I don't know if it's a scene that's like in the sense of like playing it out, but I know that like I would definitely go around and like make time to kind of talk to everybody, I guess.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know if it's something that like needs to be played out, but
Yeah.
just I guess noting like I make the time to go do work with everybody, or at least see if everybody needs help or like how everybody's
Yeah.
doing.
You're gonna make your crush's day.
Yeah. You.
Socializing. Kelariis is more sociable than I am.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's my point though. If you've got a crush, like, and they come up and talk to you, you're just like, yay!
Yeah.
That's valid.
you spend your time going around helping people, like making sure everybody's got what they need. They're all very pleased to see you, all very happy to hear the good news, and all very willing to sort of receive help with doing various things. They're basically like deconstructing a bunch of like the burnt out huts and using any of the timber that's still good to just reinforce and rebuild so that they've got some habitation more than just all living in the town hall. Key, of course, is very happy to see you again.
Bless her. I love her so much.
Yeah, you like she is especially happy to see that sort of Tallithsyr is like coping well after everything that has happened. And yeah, that's if that's what you want to do, that's what you can do for the evening. You can all have a long rest, replenish all your required slots and everything.
Oh, I do give them food as well. Like I'll make food
Okay,
for them
yeah,
before.
that's fine.
More magic food.
Look, it doesn't taste good, but it's something.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't say it doesn't taste good. It just says it tastes bland.
Oh, it tastes
It's
better
like
than
just having
air.
yeah, it's like just having white bread on its own.
Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna choose to believe that what it means is it's just like unseasoned whatever the food is.
Yeah.
It's just plain rice.
Yeah, fucking okay. Look, plain rice is good though.
Yeah, I know. I love plain rice.
Anyway, the next morning comes between Grim, Elizabeth, and Arya. Can you make me a somebody make me a wisdom roll with advantage, and somebody make me a follow-up charisma roll with advantage.
Oh, great.
Oh no! Oh no!
Well, we all
I've got
know
+1 charisma.
I am known as Grim the Wise, but
Yeah. Oh, and it has to be
Are you?
different people who make each check.
Yeah.
but like I think I suggest I go for charisma because luck. So I'm lucky. I'm just lucky, you know.
Yeah, Arya's kind of wise, right?
No.
Like,
I've got
Wait.
14 wisdom still.
I have 12
Y'all.
wisdom.
Yeah, I've got a plus, like, in terms of wisdom then charisma, I'm a +1 and a +2. No, +2 and a +1.
yeah, well,
Did it the wrong way
so
around.
well,
Wait,
guess
I don't know. Arya and I are exactly as wise as each other. Fucking high
Yes.
five.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I'll just roll charisma, I guess, and then probably
Okay.
gonna luck it if
I
it's
guess-
bad.
I guess I'll roll wisdom.
Okay.
With advantage.
God, y'all.
How about?
That's a save you
no,
rolled,
never
by the way,
mind.
but
That's even worse.
okay.
Oh well, like I don't have.
How
There's
about
there's no
worse?
difference between the save and the.
Okay.
The actual thing for charisma for him at least.
How did you get it worse?
12 and
Okay.
9.
Oh my god.
Fine.
Is
know-
it?
I'm
Well-
sure it will be.
Just means that somebody else will go hungry, maybe.
Well,
Okay. So, going and visiting all of the various market traders and trying to negotiate with them all, to get like to purchase up as much of their food stock as they are willing to part with. They're not willing to part with all of it, and a lot of them have like fairly limited in terms of what they actually produce. A lot of them are they're not even like refined or prepared food. It's things like flour for baking and like materials to make food more than anything.
Well, like flour, great traveling food.
Flour is a great traveling food. That is correct.
Yeah.
stick flour in your mouth.
No,
Do not eat raw flour.
just
It's
make
raw flour.
you just make flatbread. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so buying like bulk quantities of food, you can probably get enough to reasonably feed 50 people for maybe a day or two.
Well,
Um,
That's still pretty good.
that's. I'll be happy.
Look, they want 2 days worth. They want 2 days to prepare. That means that we've covered those 2 days and a little bit extra.
Yeah. So the downside of being able to secure this volume of food is that to part with this volume of food to basically deplete their stock for the moment, these traders want more than its market value.
Yeah, they want a premium, but that's
that's
kind of what we expected.
So,
But like, what is even the price of premium flour?
Flour.
That premium mill.
These are the finest grains of flour you will ever see.
They're not the finest, but they're the most expensive.
These are the most expensive grains of flour you will ever see. That grains are so fine that even when just in a pile at the table, it will still catch fire.
Wow.
Wow.
Because just
That's
remember that flour
bad.
is very flammable when it's in the air.
Yeah.
Like, so flammable.
It's almost like it's a thin, powdery substance. It's easily burnable.
There's been a lot of reported deaths in exploding mills.
so for 2 days worth of just like it's not even particularly great quality food, but it's food. They want 30 gold for the lot of it.
Whoa. That's
Yeah,
some
it's not bad.
damn expensive shit.
Pretty well, like if you think about it, compared to our travel rations, it's cheap.
Yeah.
I know.
But like, yeah, well, we were in for it, in for a penny, in for a pound, or whatever. Although this time it's in for 30 gold.
Yeah.
In for 30 gold out. In for 30 gold out.
Um,
300 gold by that logic?
No.
No, 3,000 gold.
No, they could have charged 300 maybe, but they didn't. Although maybe at that point we would have raised an eyebrow.
No, I'm just doing because a
Yeah.
pound is 100 times more than a penny.
Right.
Does that make it in for 30 gold, out for 3,000?
But yeah. Also, compared to your trail rations, you're not buying prepared food.
That's also true.
Yeah. Our trail rations do not contain flour.
Because that's essentially what you're buying here. You're buying big bags of flour and some like plants,
And I guess like
Raw
how we're
potato.
like cabbages,
Like-
potatoes, stuff like that.
do they sell tools and stuff here as well?
There's probably like a handful of things like loose farming tools. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because no, I'm not gonna make the others drag farming tools across the mountain, but like I was more thinking for building tools for the village, or something, something that, like, just some materials they might need, even though they didn't ask for it.
Yeah, and I also don't know how. I mean, if we're already struggling to get them across the mountains just themselves, I don't know how much we want to weigh them down with like extra shit.
I know.
Yeah,
Minnie's
yeah,
referring to
it's-
the people of Nychaki, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get the people in Nychaki some like hammers or saws.
I think I was more thinking stuff along the lines of nails.
Nails, hammer and nails.
Yeah, you can probably buy like rough building supplies, like a decent amount of rough building supplies for like 5 gold.
Yeah, like we can't buy all the heavy stuff anyway.
Yeah,
Buy
like that-
all the nails.
that'll buy you like hammer and nails and like some like loose metalwork bits for like
Yeah,
hanging
like brackets
doors
and
and
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Hinges.
Hinges, nails, screws.
No, those are always going to be useful, and otherwise they'll disappear in the bag of holding just to somehow be used later.
Yep.
Just watch as we for some reason have to reattach a door. Well, for some reason, in this bag,
No,
we have
what?
hinges, nails, and hammer. Don't ask
Yeah,
why.
I was thinking more just like Grim landing the last hit on a greater demon with a handful of nails.
Oh my god.
Ugh, random
Yeah,
bullshit.
oh,
Go.
yeah, no. You know how you have like a stick of butter in a sock or something, but just like nails in a sock, and then just slap them with that.
That seems like not a great idea.
That seems painful.
Bowling ball in a burlap sack.
Oh no,
Dunk.
we somehow lose everything apart from the bag of holding. Grim finds a table leg and is like, I know what to do. Hammers some nails into it. And then it's just like a spiked baseball.
Okay,
table
I'm
no.
now just imagining Grim like crafting
Implies
something
Morningstar.
with the fucking like crafting music from Dead Rising.
Yeah. And he just,
Dun, 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 dun.
he just has an
no.
improvised Morningstar.
Anyway, you spend a small portion of the morning buying all of this and heading back up the mountain to Nychaki. You meet up with Kriv, Kelariis, and Tallithsyr. Presumably hand over the tools.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we bought some tools. You can't have them.
We got some hammer and nails.
No tools.
I don't know why I went German there.
Yeah, Kriv is very happy to sort of receive this. He thanks you and basically like. I guess like he like looks to your party and is just like, you know, I really can't find the words to say how much I appreciate everything that you've all done. Like, not only did you risk your lives, but you've also brought us supplies, made sure we're safe.
That's just what we've been doing.
I wish there were more people who were like you.
Well, I guess fingers
Fortunately,
crossed people will be inspired.
well, I don't think the problem is necessarily inspiration as much as ability. It's not an easy life,
That too.
and we were quite lucky just running into a mountain of cash, meaning that we can basically help whomever we please.
Yeah.
Well, there are still smaller ways to help people that don't involve using a lot of money.
I guess that's true, but honestly, our help has mainly been shove money in their faces and beat something up.
Well, even small gestures. I mean, you could just take our money thing and put it on a smaller scale.
Aye, that's true.
You're waiting for some food, and the person in front is short a few coppers.
I think Kriv just sort of like chuckles at that and says, well, those two methods seem to have been fairly effective here. And you won't find me among the list of people who will turn that down.
No. They are two effective methods.
I'm just glad that we were able to help out at all.
Yes.
That's why we do what we do.
As I said before, if any of you ever are coming back this way, there'll always be a place in Nychaki for any one of you.
Might be a while, but I think we'll stop by just to see how things are going at some point.
Yeah.
At this point, we can't not pretty much.
Well, good fortune on your journey then. Thank you again.
And good fortune with, well, your continued efforts here.
I think like he looks back at the town centre, just sort of smiles and says, "Yep, we're gonna need it, but I think we'll manage."
You will. I have faith.
It is a very far way off, but if you ever feel the need to or desire to, you can always send word to the Amber Eagle. And we'll get the message eventually.
It's good to know you have our back.
Sorry, Grim, I did just kind of volunteer us.
Well, like, hey, you're free to volunteer as much as I am, so
Yeah.
you know.
We're the
Like-
inner circle. We volunteer. We're the marketing division.
Honestly, like
I don't think we're the marketing division.
We're definitely
We're the-
not the marketing division.
We're the PR people.
I don't think we can count as PR either.
like,
Do we or do we not have relations with the public?
like, just because we're not great at it, it doesn't mean we aren't doing it.
Yeah. There
Which-
are plenty of people who have terrible PR departments.
Yeah,
at least
that's
decent.
true.
But
Look, we are the front-facing staff. That makes us PR.
No.
No, but
That's definitely not how that works.
We're the front of house.
Being front of house is definitely not the same thing as PR.
Do you or do you not have relations with the public?
I have a degree in this, don't question me.
anybody is gonna.
I know.
I have a first-class honours in public relations.
Damn.
Oh wow.
Damn.
Did you hear that? Hear that, Dave? If you ever need a public relations
Oh
agent.
my god.
I'm not
Oh, no,
for
that
hire.
works.
I'm not in the industry.
Oh. Unfortunate.
Oh well.
Anyway,
Well, I guess if you
We'll
You get-
go back to the fortress.
yes. So, you spend the remainder of the second day heading back to the fortress, where upon arrival at the main gates of the fortress, you find yourselves face to face with a it's essentially like a patrol column of guards who are essentially like they are assembling like what appears to be like a rudimentary cart. Like it's a cart in essence that it is a large open like wooden structure with a pair of wheels on an axle. It seems to suffice for the purposes, although how long it will stay intact is questionable.
I have just thought of how I could help with that. Because I have a spell I've never used, which might be useful here.
Okay.
Um,
Anyway, while you think about using that, Warlord Veer is like basically like addressing like the head of this column, and as you arrive laden down with supplies, he turns to you and says, "Ah, that was fast."
well, you said you were going to be out of here fast, so we best not slow you down.
We have postponed until the morning for now, but we have made good progress.
Oh, it's not much, but it should last you. Like, we found enough food to last you maybe a day or two. It's, that's all they had in the surrounding area.
He-
I'm able to provide again today.
He nods, like sizes up like the supplies that you've bought, like sort of like lifts one of the bags of flour, like opens it, has a look inside, like seals it back up again. Says, yes, 2, 3, maybe even 4 days if we ration correctly.
Hopefully those will be of help. Guess that will be. It was weird saying goodbye now, but I guess that's basically where we're getting to. Oh, I guess we should probably let Kelariis do her food thing again first.
Oh yeah.
while she's doing that, can I like? I guess I'd probably like indicate the cart, the rickety cart, and just say,
Mhm.
"Would you mind if I tried making something a bit more stable?"
The Warlord like looks at you quizzically and sort of gestures, with what? We use the last of the wood to build what we have here.
Well, yeah. Basically, I want to cast Fabricate.
Okay.
Not temporary?
No, it takes a
No.
while, but it
No,
does the thing forever.
fabricate is permanent, but don't you have to be proficient in
mean-
the thing that you're fabricating?
For complex things, if it requires a high degree of craftsmanship. But examples of things that I can build with it include a wooden bridge from a patch of trees, rope from a patch of hemp, and clothes from flax or wool.
Okay.
So I guess I'm wondering if a cart would count.
I will say if you cast Fabricate on the cart, you can improve the quality of the cart. You won't be able to change its dynamics, but you can definitely improve the quality of it.
Because yeah, it's just. In fact, I'll just roll the spell. That's probably easier.
Yeah, it is technically a large object.
And I'm not working with metal, stone, or mineral substances. It's just wood.
Okay.
But yeah, it does take a while.
Okay.
10 minutes isn't too bad though.
If you explain to Warlord Vivir, you will have to explain to Warlord Vivir what you're intending to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be key.
Yeah, I guess you just say. I mean, you've got the raw materials for the cart there, but I could. Essentially, I know a spell that could. Well, that takes raw materials and converts it to things exactly like that. It just might last a little longer.
Actually, you could probably do. Thinking about the application of the spell, you could probably do something better because there are trees nearby.
Yeah.
You could just make a second cart.
I could just make a second cart out of trees.
Oh yeah, you could just go to you could just
Yeah, that's a good point. In that
Yeah.
case, yeah, she just looks to the trees and goes, "Actually, I might not even need to. I might not even need the cart itself."
I think he just sort of gestures towards the trees and says, "Be my guest."
Yeah, and I will take 10 minutes.
Okay.
I imagine, flavor-wise, it just looks a bit like she's just using the Force.
Okay.
Because it's just because what else would it be? It's not it's probably just invisible tools doing things.
Like honestly, I'm half imagining Lego building where just bits of the
Oh.
tree
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Peel away and it just click, 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 click,
Yeah.
click, 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 click. Yeah, there you go. It's exactly like the Lego games when you build in that, but slower. Just things floating around.
Build the cart to bring the provisions.
We need to build this food cart. Hey!
Okay, yeah, you spend 10 minutes fabricating a cart out of wood using magic.
Heard it here first, Dave. Lego the Second Age.
No.
Oh no.
Complete with minifigure inside barrel.
I'm sorry. That was funny.
Yeah, so you fabricate a cart and you gain quite the crowd of onlookers who are just watching you do this very bizarre act.
Yep.
But yeah, 10 minutes later you have a cart and
Fucking weird.
Warlord Vivir just sort of who's been scrutinizing you for the whole time, just sort of says, I must admit, I am used to seeing a certain caliber of sorcerer, but this is a trick that I have not yet try that again. Not yet borne witness to.
I have been making a point to try and learn more spells that are of use off the battlefield.
Very well. Your assistance is appreciated.
Just give I guess it'd be a polite quarter bow.
So yeah, you after Elizabeth finishes fabricating this cart, you spend maybe an hour sort of loading it up with supplies as the Dragonborn load the other cart. After which, Warlord Vivir surveys everything and says, "I think tomorrow morning we will be ready to leave. You are welcome to spend the evening within our walls, or you may do as you please."
Turn to Grim.
Well, is it? I'm Do you guys think there's anything else we can to do, like can do, need to do? Like, I guess, like at best you could make food in the morning again, but like they still have the food for the day, kind of.
Well, it won't be enough for them to eat again tomorrow because they just won't have
Yeah.
enough left over. So,
Well, I guess,
see them off.
whether we sleep at the keep or we sleep here, and then I guess just it doesn't make a difference, does it? Then we just because then you can just conjure up some food before we leave in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, giving them an extra day's worth of supplies is not going to be a bad idea, I don't think.
Like, I think like every day we can buy them is gonna be a great help. 'Cause they're gonna need quite some time to get things in order once they're across.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose it wouldn't be the first time that we've stayed a night, had breakfast, and left again once we were finished eating.
No, I feel like we do that fairly often, actually.
I mean, that was kind of my point.
I just had I just had a separate realization, but yeah, it's, like I just realized we should probably tell the people, like if we want to help the people quickly, yeah, like we need them to send an item of a local item like in the mail, like with the letter, because then you can teleport to it. But it doesn't matter. I don't think we're ever. It's not going to come to.
In theory, the letter itself would be enough.
Perhaps so.
Because it's paper that originated in the village.
Probably.
Well,
if the paper was manufactured there, yes.
No. But the ink would have been applied there.
I feel like
But it
we're
still would have to be
stretching
made
it.
there.
No, I suppose.
You're
Well,
pushing
we'll
the
just-
limits of the spell there.
Just ask them to send some fucking fabric or something in the mail. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be fine. We can just mention it to them.
A little wheat crop.
Yeah, like if they need, like if they need, yeah, depends on how bad they need us.
Again, we're gonna sound so weird.
I
By
think
the
at this
way,
point they've
include a
seen some
tiny piece
weird
of local
shit.
product
Yeah,
in the letter so that
I'm
we
like,
can
they have
appear as
to
soon
know-
as possible.
I mean, you just made a cart out of trees
Yeah.
using
I
magic.
did just make a cart out
They've
of trees.
literally seen us do that. They've seen us talk with dragons. They saw me do whatever the fuck I did. Like if they're like,
Yeah, I've just been pulling food out of
yeah.
fucking thin air.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I
Like-
think they've
Okay,
seen
true.
a lot of weird shit from
they're
us.
probably like, whatever.
True.
These people are just like crazy.
Like
It's
honestly,
fine.
like,
Also,
if
in
you-
theory, I could like literally like just be like, "Oh, it's raining tomorrow morning." No, it's not.
Yeah, well,
I
there's
don't think
sunlight to
question
walk in.
our simple request here.
well, yeah, it's
Anyways, yeah, I guess I'll turn back to Vivir and just be like, if you wouldn't mind, we would be happy to stay for the night and see you off in the morning.
I think he just nods to that and says, "I would offer you quarters, but we are light on space as it is."
I believe we can see to ourselves on that front, and I kind of just look at Elizabeth for confirmation.
Nod.
It is appreciated, though.
Now everyone gets to look at my tiny hut.
Okay. So you go inside the walls. You cast Lehman's tiny hut, and you take a long rest. Next morning comes. Kelariis, you begin preparing food.
Yeah.
Eventually, everyone is fed, and eventually there is a long marching column of give or take about 50 chromatic dragonborn, who are ready to depart. I think like as they're sort of like getting ready to go, Warlord Vivir sort of like arrives. Everyone sort of like stands to attention. He gives a short speech in Draconic about how they came to this place looking for opportunity, they didn't find what they were expecting, but instead they found something, found a different kind of hope, and now they must look forward and plan for the future rather than thinking about what has come to pass up to this point. The people don't really seem like that moved by the speech. Like they definitely appreciate the sentiment, but like you get the feeling that they've heard these sort of speeches before, and are just prepared to get on with the task. At which point he sort of turns to the five of you and says, "Well, I never pictured it ending this way, but I think this is a satisfactory ending for our encounter."
Has been somewhat of a roller coaster.
What's a roller coaster?
It's a gnomish thing.
Oh.
Look, I'm sorry, I don't know ye olde English proverbs.
You hold the English.
You could just say it's like traveling through a storm. Like, come on.
Yeah, but like, I don't feel like it's like I feel like that's different because we had plenty of highs and lows. Not just it's not been just a storm.
Grim once explained an elevator to you, so you expected
That's also
something along
true.
the same way.
Oh right, yeah, true. 'cause we have
God.
actually been in an
Oh
elevator
my
before.
god. It's been quite the elevator ride.
It's been a fucked up elevator, y'all.
No, I prefer the idea that roller coasters are actually a thing in Gnomishville.
Can't believe it. The
Like,
problem
roller
is if
coasters
you,
Roller
roller
coasters are a
coaster.
pretty
Look.
simple concept, so they could probably make one.
Yeah, gnomes have a roller
Yeah.
coaster. That's canon
Yeah.
now.
I mean, minecarts are a thing, so...
yeah,
Yeah,
they're basically just joyriding minecarts.
Oh no.
It's just like Minecraft.
It's just you just
God.
put kids in a minecart and just like push them up a little hill and then let them go.
And then they come
Yeah.
back down and it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The oldie roller coasters used to be more like half pipes.
he holds out like a hand to you, like sort of says, "I believe this is how you exchange pleasant wishes."
Oh my god. I can't believe I've decided that I like this guy.
Yeah, he's pretty chill.
This well, that would be this is pretty much as close as it gets.
Yeah, I don't know who is he extending a hand to?
Just to you in like the group of you in general.
Honestly, I guess like just purely because it's like because it's habit. Grim would go for it first.
Okay.
Well, like
Shake his hand.
You have to
being the
reach a bit.
being the face of everything all the time.
He struggles to sort of like grasp your hand due to the difference in sizes, but he sort of like gives you a rough handshake and just sort of says, "Then I would prefer it perhaps if we met again under more pleasant circumstances, but until we do." And then he sort of turns towards his collar, ready to head out.
Yeah, I think I will. I think there's probably an expression in Draconic for like safe travels, be well.
Yeah.
I think we've been over this before. There is
Yeah.
one. I'll say it to him.
Yeah.
In Draconic.
Yeah, like without even like turning back, he just says, "And you as well."
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you know what we have to do.
yeah.
At which point she's like holding out her hands to whoever's either side of her. Just
Yeah.
Come on, we have to hold hands.
Honestly, like my first thought was just looking at Tallithsyr, like because
Oh yeah.
because-
Oh no, she has because she teleported here with us.
Yeah, Tallithsyr has teleported before.
no, it's not because of that. It's because
Oh.
this whole thing that like is finally over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Give me an insight check if you're looking at Tallithsyr then.
Because like I feel like we've finally rounded it off.
Yeah. I would like to also
Go
take
for
a
it.
look. Bless you.
As
Grim.
insightful as ever.
Wow.
There we go.
Yeah, Grim Tessira is quite clearly like, she's got a very stoic face, but it's obvious even to the untrained eye that she's got a lot of thoughts bouncing around inside her head. Kelariis, as somebody who knows Tessira perhaps a little better than the rest of them, there is still that internal like conflict within her about whether or not everything that you've done up to this point has been the right thing. It is a conflict you are intimately familiar with.
Yeah. And it's one that probably she'll either come to terms with or not over time on her own.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do to help.
Yeah. I think I just give her like a pat and like a squeeze on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I give her like a smile.
You're gonna have to hold her hand
I want to
anyway.
express to her that I think that what we've done is right, but I still, at the end of the day, understand that's for her to decide or not.
Yeah, she definitely like smiles at the reassurance and like takes your hand like ready to go.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the rest of you
Cool.
join hands, and
Don't forget the animals.
Yeah.
Always resummon them.
Yeah, I'll dismiss my griffin so we don't have to worry about
Yeah.
taking Aster back.
yeah, disappears back.
Oh, yeah, hold on
Um,
to your wolf.
Yeah, you grab her by the scruff.
Oh my god, she must
her
hate
paw.
that.
Oh,
no,
definitely.
no, she just sits down like it's like when you teach a dog to shake, you shake the hand. You just grab the paw.
I don't think.
No.
No, she probably hates that more. I think like maybe
Yeah.
if anything, sitting and like put a hand on her head.
Yeah.
probably reach
I
as
was
high
more thinking
enough.
just on the
Yeah.
flank or something, not.
Yeah. Swoop.
Well, considering how tall she is, you probably have to like reach out sideways to like put your hand on the back of her shoulders when she's sitting. But
Yeah.
Ugh. What a good dog. What a good wolf.
Big.
Good wolf.
Large.
she is large.
Large wolf.
But yeah,
Big wolf.
with that,
Actually, I
God,
shouldn't
do
say
y'all
big wolf
remember-
because that's also usually an expression of like not a good thing.
Yeah, you know. Do you remember the days when Lyra was just like a regular sized
Wolf.
animal?
regular
Do you remember the
size.
Do you remember when we first got Lyra and she was basically just a wolf cub?
What's up,
Yeah.
regular
She was
size
like almost
man?
a yearling, wasn't she?
She was pretty young.
It's
Yeah,
basically
she
probably-
she was never a full pup, but
Like
she was
halfway.
very young. Yeah.
The age at which they're basically only just fending for themselves.
Oh, they still got
Yeah.
long legs.
Mm-hmm.
Long
Ugh.
leg.
Yeah.
Big
Oh
paws.
god, do you think Lyra ever had like the trip over the long legs and paws moment?
Not
She's
where we
probably
could see
a
it.
little too old for that, but
Not where we could see it. She didn't.
Yeah.
She did it when she was tired and everyone was already asleep.
But yes, you teleport back to the Amber Eagle stronghold.
Not a blazing fireball.
God, can you imagine
God
we
damn
come back
it.
and everything's on fire? Oh,
No, I don't want to imagine that.
be awful.
That would be bad.
That'd be
It'd be
really bad.
Really bad.
You know, just because it's bad doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
It's like the fucking Dread Legion's been here.
Oof. Well,
Everything's
to be
on
fair,
fire.
if they knocked out Vondal, how would we know?
Wow.
That is
I mean,
a
I
point.
guess that is a
just
good point.
just feeding
Yeah.
the DM some very stupid
Yep.
information.
Stop!
As if the DM doesn't already know that.
Yeah,
Look.
Ferrous clearly knows which two
Look.
people need to be knocked out to make sure that we don't get word that bad stuff's happening here.
Yeah.
Because it is two people, remember, don't worry.
It is, yes.
Oh, it's a two people now. I forget who the other one is.
It's one of your elite squad because I taught them sending.
Oh,
before we
yeah,
sent
that's
them on their first
true.
mission.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
We did make a point of that.
We made a point of me teaching them sending.
That is a very good thing to do.
Yep.
Wow, we were clever.
Yes.
You
Usually
were
not
so
we would-
surprised.
Yes, because
I
Usually we aren't that
actually did
clever.
something.
I always have to remember that Riala is not a warlock. She is actually a
Oof.
wizard.
Yeah.
No,
She's a
wizard, Harry.
wizard?
She's a wizard, yeah.
I didn't know she was a wizard.
Lay upon me,
Oh,
A
That's really-
wizard's kiss.
a wizard's kiss.
what?
A wizard's kiss.
What's happening?
Lay upon me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Lay
I was like,
upon
what?
me, my juicy lips.
A
A
juicy
wizardly
kiss.
kiss.
Oh, see, you
It
said
was-
that, and I was like, that sounds like Hat Films, yeah.
Yeah.
From my son.
God.
I don't remember the context of that, but yes, that is unfortunately lodged in my brain
It's a fucking
literally
animated
for
short.
eternity.
Yeah, it was an animated short from one of their hat chats.
Oh yeah, it was a hat chat originally, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember now. Oh, anyway. God,
God.
massively off track.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, so you arrive back at the keep to a bustle of activity. As much like when you left previously, like the walls have had the external stone wall has had its finishing touches put to it, and they are in the process of finalizing a lot of the buildings. But it looks like they are putting the finishing touches to the the main grand guild hall that is like the primary new building. And there is like as you come in through the gates, they have taken down a part of the interior wooden curtain wall, like this bit here, so that it opens up into the rest of the keep now. And there is a large crowd gathered in the open space, sort of like watching as a like a large emblem is basically being settled into place above the main doors. The Amber Eagle logo emblazoned in a dark wood with a like a metal rim around the outside of the sigil, is now settled across, and like as it like locks into place and the support ropes fall away, everyone cheers and applauds.
Oh my god, I can't believe we arrived at just the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, Elizabeth's intrigue. Bleh. Let me try that again. Interest was piqued like as soon as she saw this happening, so she's probably already like running over to be like, "Woo!"
Okay, yeah, you immediately run over to join in the celebrations. What are the rest of you doing?
I guess I kind of just look at Grim and just say, was that part of the plan? Did I miss that?
Yeah, well, yes, but the timing wasn't. But I'll take this time.
Yeah, that's quite the timing for sure. Perhaps we should find Vondal and check in.
Yeah.
Von Dahl is like immediately like you can see him basically like milling around at the front of the crowd, like talking to people as they've like finished putting this thing up.
Oh, I should have known.
Yeah, exactly. As also Elizabeth's thought was probably like, that's also probably where the people we want to talk to are. So I might as well go over there, be happy for a bit, and then find them and back.
Okay.
So like she does like a little woo, and then but like you know.
Yeah.
Find people she actually knows.
Yeah, you wander over as a group. As you approach Vondal, Grim, Vondal turns around, like sort of sees you and says, "Ah, Grim. Ah, that's really unfortunate timing. Had I known you were coming back, I would have asked him to wait."
Oh, don't worry. We caught it. As we were walking over.
Oh well,
So
it looks good.
It does look good. It looks.
Makes everything feel a lot more official.
Yeah, like you never really like when you start out with something, you never really expect to get this far. But here we are.
I mean, what
we
we
got
had before.
proper keep.
Yeah, what we had before was nice, but this is a keep.
It certainly is. I just hope we'll never have to put the defensive wall to the test.
I would say that.
If only
well.
if we should be so lucky.
I feel like the question is probably not going to be if, but who we're against.
And win.
Yeah, like who's going to attack? But let's hope it won't be for quite some time.
Also, before I forget, Elizabeth's probably going to send a message now up to the college, and just say, because she's assuming like we're gonna get straight, like she's gonna get straight back to this. So she's gonna say like, we finished our mission. I'll probably be over first thing in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, you probably get a message back from I think it's Galanadel, who basically just says, good to hear. Hope everything was successful. Discovered minor problems. We'll talk to you when you arrive.
I do also love that Elizabeth calls it like a mission.
Yeah. The mission.
The mission.
Mission was successful.
The mission was successful. Yeah, she's too used to like reading that kind of terminology in books.
I believe.
People tell storybooks of adventurers going on grand missions. Like,
Yeah.
Ooh. Well,
Anyway.
It took a lot of Grimm's weaning to get her off saying quest.
Yeah,
no.
probably.
Oh.
Like, that's actually, I imagine that's probably a thing. Like when she first got there and they were just building the keep, she was probably spending so much time, like every now and then, she would just go, "So when are we going on our first like quest?"
And everybody's
No,
like,
no,
"What?"
no one says
Everyone's
that.
like, "What?" Yeah, no one actually.
No one in the real world says quest.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on the list of things that people do in books but not in real life.
Yeah. But hey, you know what?
Like sunbathing with a metal reflector.
Well, you say that.
I mean, that actually has happened.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but
It seems like an awful idea.
I was gonna say I've never seen it.
Anyway.
it doesn't.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah. I think after that, like, comment, Grim, Vondal just sort of like puts a hand on your shoulder and always says, Grim, even when there's a celebration, I can always count on you to bring the tone down.
Oh my
Well-
god.
Elizabeth just breaks down in laughter at that.
Well, don't
She
worry.
had like a momentary look of concern from the sending message she got, and then she just hears that and just starts laughing.
Well, don't worry. I'll always be here for breaking up the party.
Fuck.
Just don't do that when we eventually have that big feast with everyone's families, yeah?
Yeah, but it'll be my party. That's the one I'm going to set up. Well, not
Oh, I
my
see.
party specifically, but like, you know, I
You're
can't
the
have that.
host.
On the
I'm gonna
topic
be
of
the host.
which, we have a hall now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
If you want to have it for sort of a grand opening, start sending out the invites now. I think Tiff's expecting to have everything tidied away in less than a week.
well, that's gonna be plenty of time. Like, we're gonna have plenty of time. Well, yeah, before people arrive, that's gonna be months.
Do we want to do that before our... Well, I guess it's probably going to take us a while before we can actually wrap up our main concern.
Well, we have no clue when that's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, you know, whilst that happens, it's important to to celebrate this. I was going to say the small things, but this is a rather big thing.
Yeah.
That it is.
By the way, Graham, can I invite my brothers?
Well, I don't see why not. As
Cool.
long as you know.
Just making sure, because I'm pretty sure they work for a different mercenary company.
That hasn't, well, you know, hasn't been a problem before. Well, I say that as long as they aren't dicks about it.
Well, yeah.
But
They won't be.
no. Plus,
About
they
that-
won't
not
be.
about that anyway.
You know, they'll be here as family, not as mercenaries.
I imagine Arya looks a little perturbed at this conversation.
I just want to make sure that, you know, they're not gonna, or rather that you're not gonna have some sort of like a secret grudge to having any kind of other mercenary group in here.
Do you think Grim would really keep the grudge a secret?
Good point.
That is a fantastic point.
That is an excellent point. Well
Wow.
made. Besides, I think you'd like one of my brothers. You have the
Sure.
you don't have the same social mind, but the same strategic mind.
Well, we'll see about that. But
I don't know who that was an insult towards your brother.
Wow.
It's probably more of an insult towards Grim because I think she's trying to imply that her brother's more socially capable.
Great.
Eh. Well, just consider this. Like, can a socially inept person have achieved this?
Well, you know.
Could
Apparently so.
Technically, I mean, you are pretty socially inept, and you did achieve this. So,
Yeah. Well, I guess the key thing here is socially confident,
yeah,
That's true.
socially
which
confident, which is not the
I
same
think
as being
Grim is
socially
very
confident.
socially confident. He's just
Yeah.
not very.
I mean,
very.
okay,
Yeah.
in his defense, he's not awful because he's better
No.
socially than he is with at being wise.
True.
This is not
Good.
really a hard bar to meet.
Grim is great with like talking to people and leading people. He is just not very tactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
like,
not subtle.
We all
I
have
guess
our
it's good for
strengths.
his position. Yeah.
like, no sweet talking allowed.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Or well, you know, he's attempted it in the past, but like, yeah,
Wait, hold on. What?
well, you know, like he's tried to be cute with people.
Yeah.
Not to great success most of the time.
He tried to flirt with Lady Afelkia the first time you met.
Oh, yeah, he did.
right. That's true.
I forgot about that.
I think I barely
always
thought
forget
about that
about
as flirting. Is really what it was.
Yeah, that was
But
just
yeah,
he
no,
made a
you're right,
weird
it was.
comment, but it was technically flirting.
Ugh.
It was an attempt.
Lord.
Oof.
I hope you guys are prepared. Elizabeth's got a big family.
Well, there's going to be a lot of invites. There's.
I was gonna say, so does Grim.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Grim. Basically, the whole thing's gonna be Grim and Elizabeth's family, and then like Arya and Kelariis are gonna have like household.
I guess it depends on how much of family we're talking. Because I think Kelariis' family is like big, but it's extended family.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
Well,
You don't have much immediate family. You have a lot of like, well, you have a clan.
Yeah.
True.
That's all basically just extended family.
Yes.
yeah, but I guess like you can invite whomever you want to, really. Like, I think like the limitation is probably the size of the hall, which, like
It's
I'm
pretty big.
like I imagine you can hold a lot of people.
Yeah, you can fit like at a crush like maybe 100 people inside.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, like
I
100.
would
Like
absolutely use this as an excuse to see her aunts again.
I can't believe we have to put a limit on the amount of people you're
I
allowed
mean,
to invite.
Arya's family delegation is gonna be weird.
To be fair, she's only okay. All I've got is 2 grandparents, 3 parents, 3 siblings, 2 aunts and a cousin.
That's a huge family.
Well, like you know, it's not even a quarter of all the seats, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Plus, they
Plus,
might not.
it'll make up for the fact that like Arya and Kelariis won't have like a lot of people there, so it balances out.
Yeah.
But admittedly, it's not so much about how many as how much you care. Because you know, like you have strong bonds with those few people. One
Yeah.
person has a stronger bond with one person in particular, if they would finally admit it.
That's a point of concern right now because
Yeah.
she's like, do I invite my family and my drow boyfriend
And your friends.
Yeah.
and my
And your
friend
friends.
who really hate drows?
Yeah, well, like I feel like we can't not invite Ayla and Ansimony. Like I would feel like
I
that would almost be an
Yeah.
insult.
Yeah.
Oof. You could be like, you know, you invite Jolram under false pretenses. Like, oh
What?
yeah, no, they were so like they really I feel like they did a lot for us, so we should invite them over
Yeah,
as well.
We're just friends.
Yeah, and then
Just-
you sneak them into your bedroom. Simple.
Like, you sneak into your
Yeah, and everybody's gonna fucking know.
Yeah.
No, it's not. She'll just cast Pass Without Trace and they'll all vanish.
That doesn't
But
make
you
things quiet.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Can't believe.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll help out because before the meal started, I will have cast silence in their room.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I don't
That's
think.
just-
I don't think Arya's going to ask you to do that.
No.
I feel
Yeah,
like
absolutely not.
No.
By the way, soundproof my room tonight. Like,
Proof my room for the night.
Oh
I feel-
my god.
I feel like Arya would rather just drag him out into the woods.
yeah, literally.
Do it against the tree.
Like, why
Anyway,
not?
Now, that's what
I
I
feel
call
like we made a lot of big jumps here about what was happening.
We really did. We
Children
made
got
some
inflated.
jumps.
No, that's what
Yeah.
I call kinky.
anyway,
Assumptions being made.
Like, there will be a lot of
To
gonna
be
be a
fair,
lot.
like you could do a lot more inviting him to his room than just fucking.
carrying
I wasn't
on.
suggesting fucking.
Like having a nice conversation.
Yeah, or just a little cuddle.
Yeah, it's fine.
So-
Is Arya the cuddling type?
Well, you could
No.
also do all three at once. It's fine.
Are you the cuddling type? No.
But yes, well, celebrations will definitely be in order.
I love, I love the mental image now of like it being mentioned that hey, we can have this party. Elizabeth just suddenly gets really excited, and then next to her, Arya is just face of panic.
Literally. That's literally what's happening.
Yeah.
Honestly, like one of the things that Grim hasn't mentioned but is also excited about is a potential second just massive tournament.
Yep.
The last one was a
God.
Just
Well,
have
like,
another tournament.
might making that an annual thing might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An annual tournament, that's fun.
Has it
Like
been
you
a
weren't there
year?
last time, but I
I
don't
feel
know
like-
how. I don't know when it would be, but like we would try and aim at the same time.
You probably have to hold back Elizabeth's mother to stop her jumping in at that, and then you wouldn't be able to stop any of Elizabeth's siblings.
Yeah, but it's not. Well, we're not going to like do it whilst the family is here.
Ah,
I feel like those are two separate events: celebrating
okay,
the
fair
existence of the keep, and then having
More
tournament.
another recruitment drive.
Yeah,
a
which
second
yeah
elite squad.
we said tournament, but yeah, it is recruitment drive.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, it can be
Recruitment
those
drive via
Yeah.
tournament.
Well, that's what it was
Yeah,
last
it can be-
time. That's how
Yeah.
that's how you ended up with a whole bunch of new mercenaries.
Because we were holding a tournament, and then we went, "Hey, do you guys want a job?" And they went, "Yeah, okay."
I think it's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 birds, 1 stone.
So
But
you guys make grand plans for a future party and possible tournament. As you travel back to the main area of the keep, Vondal sort of like chivies about the place, making himself busy, sorts some things out. Passes a letter to you, Arya. A letter that you have already read.
Yeah, I've already read it.
But
Nice.
you read it again.
Conveniently in that letter, Jaldrin was like, "Hey, let's visit at some point." And I'm like,
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
"This
Opportunity,
timing."
but is
At which point, presumably you give the second letter that is enclosed to everybody else.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So Arya reads a letter and then passes another sealed envelope to the rest of you.
Oh.
Oh.
You can read that at your own pace.
Essentially, I asked Jaldrin if he had any information about the Lich, if he'd like heard anything. His response.
Oh yeah, you know what? Like, why not?
Yeah. I was like, he might know something. He's down in a whole different part of the continent than us. So. Why not?
Yeah. So you are presented with a letter from Jaldrin. While you are sort of milling about in the morning, Elizabeth, you allow your mind to wander very briefly to think about like what people could be, what possible problems there could be with your mechanical devisings, and you are snapped out by Sidani approaching you. She sort of like waves at you to like bring you back from your world of your own. And she says, "Oh, hey, so you're back."
Yep. Just got back.
That's great. When you left, you asked if we wanted to get a drink.
Yeah.
How are you fixed for tonight?
I was absolutely about to go into. I would love that. Yes.
Awesome. I have somewhere else that I need to be, but I will catch up with you later, and I will we'll go to town.
I can't believe we're gonna have a date on Valentine's Day.
I know.
Woo! Valentine's Day special, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow,
Well, you know, it's
that's a lot of assumption right there.
No, I know.
it's
Look. It can
Well-
count in my mind. No, it's fine. It's just a drink. It's just some drinks.
friendship.
Yeah. So, do any of the rest of you have anything that you want to do during the rest of this day?
Probably inform Vondal with some of the finer details.
Yep.
Like how we may have, um,
Oh yeah.
like there's been some major
Interesting
changes in this.
developments.
Yeah.
Yeah, you debrief Vondal in the war room. About halfway through after Vondal and Grim disappear upstairs, there is a loud slam that sounds suspiciously like Vondal's head hitting the table.
Fucking a Rick Gondal, I guess. Oh no.
Arya agonizes over who to invite to the party.
I can't believe that Arya didn't get a high school prom, so this is her drama.
This is literally like gonna be a soap opera. All these people are here.
It'll be fine.
Fine.
Probably. It'll probably be fine.
As long as I stop my BFF from killing my boyfriend, then we'll be good.
I think it'll be okay. Probably. I think you're gonna have an easier time with your family than with like a Simone.
Oh yeah, I think my family will. I don't know. My family might be pretty.
I almost feel like you should find a chance to talk to Simone about it beforehand.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of debating.
Yeah. It's generally better if they know what they're heading into instead of just jumping it on them.
And I'm like, do I
Yeah.
need to like? And I'm like, if I write a letter, is that the best course of action? I don't know.
Yeah, or you do the really awful thing of like, hey, can we like talk?
Yeah. Actually, I imagine Elizabeth has to like grab her sister momentarily, and it's just like, help. Do I wear my slightly fancier clothes or my normal?
Oh, for tonight?
Yeah, for drinks.
God.
Oh yeah.
Drinks, are my normal robes okay, or should I wear the slightly fancier ones I got?
I feel like Gorgo just looks at you, just like, what?
Yeah, Elizabeth just be like, look, I'm going for drinks with Sonali. Do I wear like, the normal robes that I wear all the time, or do I wear slightly better looking? I don't know. You've done this thing before.
What thing?
Going out with people and hanging out, being cool with people you like.
You mean being social?
Absolutely dunked by your sister.
Yeah.
Damn. Fucking erect.
Yep. Am I overthinking this?
I don't even know what you're thinking about to begin with. So hold on, play this back for me.
Okay, so before we left on that thing we were gone on for a while, I asked Adani if she'd be interested in drinks, and she said when we got back, maybe. So now we're back, and she said, sure, tonight.
Right.
So we're going for drinks, in town.
And do you have the idea that this is anything other than drinks?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to give you the most important piece of advice you will ever hear in your life. Be straight with people.
Elizabeth's just gonna slowly lean in and just say, "But I'm not straight."
Goku just like pats you on the head like really sarcastically. And just says, I know that, but you need to be honest with people. You need to tell them what you expect out of a situation, because right now, you're just going for drinks.
Okay, good point.
Also, are you sure this is a good idea?
What do you mean?
I mean, your colleagues.
What?
Well, if this doesn't work out, it has the potential to not be so nice. Just saying.
I guess that's true.
Just think about it.
I'll be careful.
Careful's not really it, but yeah.
The sentiment's there.
Right, I have places to be.
Yeah, sorry.
And then she disappears without having told you anything that you wanted to actually know, but...
It's fine. It's fine. Overthinking things. Just wear what she always wears. It's fine.
Or is it?
Ferrous.
Wow.
Yep. Oh.
But yes. So yeah, if nobody else has any scene that they want to do, we will move on to the evening. Nope, sounds like a resounding nope.
Nope. Can't
Okay.
think of anything.
Okay. Then we will skip to the evening as Sidani meets up with you, Elizabeth, getting ready to go out. Sidani herself is wearing like just sort of casual clothes, which is strange because you're not sure the last time you ever saw Sidani wearing casual clothes.
Always in armor.
Almost always in armor and uniform.
Yep.
She sort of like greets you with the waves, like runs it over and says, "Hi, sorry, I hope you weren't waiting too long."
No, not at all. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's good. I'm really glad you came back today. I had you know what? Let's just wait until we get there.
Oh, okay.
And yeah,
It seems we picked a good day to return on all fronts then.
I mean, yeah. Well, showing up when they put the sign up was or put the emblem up was pretty convenient as well, I guess. But this one's special.
Definitely have my interest.
She just smiles at that and like puts a finger to her lips, and then like leads you down the hill to Ivywood Market, where you pop into one of the I forget the names of the taverns here, but you pop into one of the taverns. She leads you over to a table on the far side of the room, by the side of the bar, where there is a woman basically sat. As you enter, she's like looking at a small notebook. She has like shortcut dark hair and like pretty fair skin. Fairer than most people around here. Yeah. So like as the two of you approach, Sidani like calls out across the room. to the woman who like puts the notebook down. And as like Sidani sort of like slips into the side of the side of the table, invites you to sort of sit down and says, Elizabeth, this is Karina. Karina, meet Elizabeth.
Hi.
She sort of like looks up at you. Seems like a little confused for a moment, and sort of says, "Hi, it's Kari. Nobody calls me Karina." At which point, like she turns to Sidani and sort of says, "I thought this was just going to be our thing." At which point, like Sidani's like, well, I promised Elizabeth we'd go for drinks, and I guess I double booked us." Which I think like Kari sort of like side eyes Sidani for a moment and just sort of says, "Okay."
Elizabeth will probably just like just sit down awkwardly. Then he's just like, yeah, it's fine.
And I guess at this point, like Sidani's like, "Cool. Well, I'm gonna go and get us some drinks. You two get acquainted."
Sidani gets her social skills from Grim.
she stands up and goes to the bar.
So, how do you know Sidani?
Carrie sort of like looks across at you and just sort of says, "Well, we know each other through hobbies, I guess. How do you know her?"
Work.
Ah, you don't look much like a mercenary.
Oh, I guess I'm. I mean, I can see why you think that. I'm more of the less physical fighter, more magic-y type. You know? It's useful to have a mage around.
She sort of nods and says, "Ah, yeah. I know Sidani does some magic. I guess it makes sense."
Yeah, it's useful to have wizards around.
There's kind of an awkward silence as she goes to fiddling with her thumbs.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Elizabeth don't know what to say. This is a new person. I don't deal well with new people.
After a few moments, Sidani comes back with a couple of drinks of whatever you would prefer.
Yeah.
Sets it down in front of all of you and is just like, "So, you two getting along?"
So far?
So... I think she sort of just like puts a hand on her hip and just sort of says, "I thought you two would have loads to talk about." At which point, like, Harry's like, "I don't have... what do you mean?"
Yeah, I don't people normally?
I think like Sidani sort of like sighs a little and says, "And that's why I thought it might be interesting for the two of you to talk to each other, because neither of you does people." Carrie just sort of like looks like sideways at you and says, "So, what?" At which point Sidani just leads it. Is like, "Just talk about your hobbies. Come on, like we've been over this." Elizabeth, you start.
I do history?
So,
Does that count?
Sidani like nods and then like gestures to Kari, and Kari's like, I like cataloging things and chess. And Sidani's like makes a go on motion with her hands.
Chess is pretty cool.
At which point, Kari is immediately sort of like changes from like awkward to sort of like curious. He's like, "You play chess?"
My dad definitely tried to teach me at some point. One of my younger brothers was way better at it than I was. I was more of a bookworm, but
I think she kind of like she looks like a little bit down, sort of like, oh.
I'd be willing to learn.
Like again, like her curiosity seems piqued again, and she's like, Sidani and I play chess a lot. It's kind of the thing. She's the only person who's really proficient at it to challenge me at this point. At which point, like, Sidani sort of like rolls her eyes a little bit and just sort of says, "Well, yeah, I think there's a little bit more than proficiency." Anyway.
Humble brag. Oh god.
I think Sidani just takes a long drink of wine and just goes, "This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be."
At this point, yeah, I was just going to turn to Sidani and just say, yeah, you need to remember that not only do I not talk with a lot of the people back at the keep, but even going to the keep was the first time I'd really talked with people outside of my family pretty much almost my whole life.
Kari just sort of seems to like nod along to that and is like, yeah, it's not exactly the easiest to talk to complete strangers. I mean, it took me long enough to have a reasonable conversation outside of your move. To which Sidani just sort of like waves her hand like dismissively in the air and just sort of says, "That's not the point. When you have things that you have in common, you can discuss them. I mean, like, look at the two of you. You're both very quiet. You always complain about how you, and I'm sorry for saying this, don't have any friends. This is the perfect opportunity to make a new friend. I mean, like, you're both interested in studying. You both love books. I mean, you've both already expressed an interest in maybe playing chess with each other. Like, that's all you need."
That's all you need. This is the foundation of every relationship.
I mean, yeah, on paper.
I mean, to be fair, showing the same interest is not the worst start.
I think Kari like nods along to like Elizabeth's statement. It's just sort of like, yeah, in theory, that's great.
And as I get repeatedly told, you can't rely on theory. Even though I've done plenty of things just from using theory, and it's worked out fine.
Well, theory will take you a long way, I guess. I mean, there's a lot to be said for being adaptable as well. That was Kari's response.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, it depends on the situation.
Sidani like is like leading in at this point, like doing eyes between the two of you, like conversation.
I love Sidani. She's so good.
While books were mentioned, what kind of books do you read?
Like, Kari's just sort of like, she seems to like shrink back a little bit upon being asked a question, but she sort of says, "Well, I like reading stories, but mostly I like reading things about like flora and fauna and learning about the general things like what plants grow in what region and stuff. But I'm also sort of interested in like writing my own stuff about it. A lot of books don't tend to cover specific areas, and I'm more interested in putting together like sort of a generalist guide. I don't know why I'm telling you this.
Okay, so Elizabeth's probably looking quite wide-eyed and like jaw slightly dropped and like just looking between Sadani and Kari.
Kari just sort of like looks at you and is like, "What? It's not that weird."
No. It's not that it's weird. It's that I'm basically doing the same thing, but with historical writings.
Sadani, like at this point, just sort of like leans back in the chair, like crosses one leg over the other, and just nods.
Her work here is done.
My work here is done. And you didn't do anything.
she just fades away. She just fades away. Like hands covering her face, like she's hiding. No. But yeah, she's gonna say like, so yeah, it's not that I think it's weird. It's just that I guess I didn't expect to meet another person so interested in a specific topic. Even if it's not the same topic.
I think like Kari sort of like smirks a little bit and says, "Oh, that's surprising. Everyone around here is interested in one specific thing. It's just that one specific thing is either gold or farming."
Okay, yeah, that's true, I suppose, but see, now my brain's just racking through the names of the books I read that were on things like fauna and flora. I don't remember much. They were my first few books.
I'd be interested to know if you have any new ones. I think I've read pretty much everything in local libraries have to offer at least 20 times.
Well, that depends. Have you been up the west coast? Most of mine would have been from up there.
I've lived here my whole life, so not really.
So there might be something you haven't read in back at my house.
Elizabeth, you can't invite Tony back to your house on the first date.
No, at this point she's like, not
First date.
Yeah, at this point, wow. At this point she's like, for me to, bring back, not to, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't mind, that would be great.
I mean, they're not getting read at the moment. My family are a bit more. They're not quite ones for books.
I think there's another awkward silence, which Kari sort of breaks by diving into a knapsack at her feet and is like, "Hey, do you want to play chess?" At which point Sadani just bangs a hand on the table and says, No chess!"
What's wrong with chess?
Like, Sadani just gestures through her head and is like, "We're here to have fun and have a conversation, not sit in silence and play chess."
You don't have to sit in silence playing chess.
You do if you're playing with Kari. Kari just sort of looks back at that, just sort of shrugs and says, "It's easier to concentrate."
I guess that's true.
No chess. Kari reluctantly puts the bag down again. At which point Sadani just leads her, just like, "Why are you bringing a chessboard to a bar anyway?"
It's pretty weird.
At this point, Elizabeth probably reaches into her own bag. It's like, I mean, I still bring my writing with me all the time. And she just probably brings out the book that has all of her writing that needs to be edited down.
Sidani puts down the wine glass and sighs heavily into her palms.
Look, I'm just saying it's not that weird. Or at least if it is, I'm just as weird. But then again, that implies weirdness is bad. Like if things weren't at least a little bit weird, things would get kind of boring real quick.
I think like Sidani just finishes the glass of wine and is like, okay, I'm gonna get another drink. Then maybe we can just talk about how our weeks have been, like normal people.
I don't think I've had a normal week.
I suppose that's true. I need another drink.
Fair. Like, yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
But both you and Kari have not touched yours.
Yeah. In fact, yeah. Elizabeth probably like painstakingly realizes that. Just goes, I should probably have some of this.
And Kari just like follows your lead. I feel like this continues back and forth for a little while.
Yeah. Just, it's the general gist of like when you're with a new person, you're like, how much is it okay for me to talk? Because honestly, Elizabeth would quite happily just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. As long as she didn't think the person would be annoyed by that. But it's a new person. She doesn't know if they'd be annoyed by that or not, so she just assumes they would be and doesn't talk.
Give me an insight check.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Whilst you are talking about the things that interest you, Kari is just sort of like she's listening and like nodding along, and she generally seems interested. She doesn't interject very often, but she's definitely seems to be sort of like, even if she's not taking in what you're actually saying, she's listening to you and like enjoying that you're enjoying talking. Like she seems to not be a very talkative person in general.
Yeah, probably there's like a little bit of a moment then where there's just like more idle chat, and then Elizabeth probably suddenly goes like, so here's a random question that might not make sense at first.
Okay.
How interested are you in the writings of a first age wizard?
She just sort of like looks at you and goes, I don't know anything about magic.
Well, I'm just wondering because I now can't help but wondering if there's, because you know sometimes fauna and flora comes up in terms of wizardry. That's probably why I even had books on that to begin with. So I'm almost wondering if they might have something. There's still a lot of books I haven't read. I don't get much time to just sit down and read as I used to, but that's because I'm off doing things.
I mean, flora and fauna from the first age sounds interesting. I mean, I'm not sure how much of it will have survived or changed or anything like that, but I mean, if there is something, I'd be interested.
Talking is hard.
I think Kari just like nods in agreement and then just like takes a big swig of her drink.
Yeah, follow with the swig.
At this point, like Sidani's just sort of been nodding along and like gently encouraging for a time.
So, speaking of speaking, do you speak of many languages out of interest?
I think Kari like sort of like looks a little embarrassed and just says, I know some curse words in Dwarvish, but that's about it.
At which point she probably like thinks to a moment and says, "Well, I can't say I know that." and I know a fair amount of languages.
I think there's a moment where like Kari like looks at Sidani and Sidani just very clearly just mouths no.
What?
I mean, I'm. Oh, I'm so tempted. Oh god. Okay, Elizabeth's probably trying to like hold back giggles because, like, much like me, she's just thought of something and it's really funny, and I don't know if I do it or not. But something's funny.
I think like that like Kari like sort of like looks really embarrassed when you start laughing.
Wait, I'm not laughing at you. I just had a random thought of something I could technically do. Because I'm guessing that what's happening here is that, you know, you're being discouraged from swearing in Dwarvish. Like, she sort of looks to Sidani.
Sidani just like shakes her head at both of you and just says, "Not in public."
At which point, I'd like to just look around the room. How many people in the...
It's reasonably busy in this tavern.
No, I mean, like, but how many are actually, you know, non-human? And therefore not able to speak?
A couple.
At which point, like, she probably just turns and says, A, not that many people would even know what we're saying, and B, those people probably wouldn't even be able to hear us over the... We're in a busy tavern.
I think like Sidani just like rolls her eyes, like just shakes her head, and then just goes like, "Fine, children."
Wow.
Oh.
They are both a lot younger than Sidani.
I mean, yeah, at this point, Elizabeth probably just oh, well, I am 20.
Like Kari just sort of like looks at you, kisses, and is like, "Oh, you don't look it."
At which point, Elizabeth just like looks down and is like, in what way?
Well, I would have thought you were older, but not like in a bad way, but just
I guess
you
I probably look
seem
like I've been more through the work. I don't know.
kind of.
Yeah, at this point, Elizabeth was about to say something, and they just then like quickly closes it again, realizing I didn't say that out loud. That's kind of a heavy thing to drop on someone you've just met.
I think Kari is just like, "How old do you think I am?"
How old do I think she is?
Give me a perception roll. Hard to tell. Like, she looks like relatively young, but she's also got like, there are like shadows under her eyes and like lines on her face that might indicate that she's like maybe a little bit older. Difficult to tell.
I guess then she'd just say, like, I don't know specifics, but, like, you know, I guess somewhere between me and Sidani. Like, you don't seem...
Sidani chuckles and says, "There's quite a lot of space in that."
I guess closer to my age, then?
Kari sort of like nods, like shrugs her shoulders a bit and says, 26.
Fair enough. Um... At this point, Elizabeth's just gonna get, like, a massive, like, really, like, slightly cheeky grin, and she's just... I feel like winding up Sidani a little bit, I don't know why. So she's just gonna... So she's gonna say, like... What was it we were fucking talking about again, but... Instead of, like, fucking, it's infernal.
Right.
Infernal bad word. I'm just gonna, like, make a point of looking at Sidani when she says it, when he says the infernal word.
Sidani just looks at you and just shakes her head disapprovingly, just like.
Yeah, that's the response she wanted, so she just starts giggling.
I think at that Sidani finishes her second drink, puts the drink down and says, "Well, if you're gonna behave like that, then I'm gonna go."
Hey, no, don't go. You've barely been here.
She sort of smiles, says, "Well, I have to admit I need to go anyway because I have drill in the morning. But you kids have fun." And with that, she just takes her jacket, slings it over her shoulder, and then just walks out.
Just turns to Kari, just shrug, go, whoops.
I think Harry just sort of shakes her head and says, "It's fine. She does this."
At this point, she just sort of taps awkwardly, I mean, come on, if I'm gonna be going if I'm gonna be disappearing halfway across the world, in the morning, surely she can deal with a little bit of she doesn't even have to keep drinking. She can deal with a little bit of drill, slightly tired. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Carrie just sort of nods along and says, "Yeah, I mean, I haven't got anything to do in the morning, but even then, I'm probably gonna stay up until 2 in the morning or something like that. Because why not?"
I mean, I suppose. I mean, yeah, if you don't have to be up by a certain time, might as well.
You said you were heading to the other side of the world. What do you mean, actually?
Yeah, technically.
Oh. Okay.
Do you happen to know Argon Tolerant?
What now?
Elven capital, right up in the north of the woods, by the mountains.
I know about it.
That's where I'm going.
Oh. That's gotta be a long journey.
Not if you're me.
She just sort of looks you up and down, just says wizard stuff.
Wizard stuff.
Just nods and seems happy with that explanation.
Yeah. You know, normally people would look at me like I'd grown a third head if after I've said stuff like that.
She just sort of shakes her head and just sort of says, "Kind of used to it."
Just tilts her head to one side. How so?
Well, the only friends I've ever really had, at least as an adult, have been Sidani, who's not exactly normal to begin with, and well, let's put it this way: the friend that I had that I played chess with before Sidani, went off into the forest to learn how to turn people into frogs.
Why did they want to do that?
I don't know. Some personal obsession about turning people that he didn't like into frogs. I don't even know if he had any magical ability. He always went on about it. It's kind of dull to listen to be honest.
Yeah, it's also not great magic practice. I could do, sure, I could do far worse and turn people into frogs, but I don't necessarily want to turn everyone into frogs.
I mean, that's good. I don't particularly want to be turned into a frog.
I mean, I could do it, but I don't want to. I'd rather do it A, with permission, and B, into something they actually want to be turned into.
I think she pauses for a moment, like thinks, like is clearly thinking about asking something, and goes like lowers her voice to like a whisper that you can just about hear, and says, "Do people ask to be turned into things?"
I've never been asked. I'll be honest, I mostly turn myself into things.
Is it like a, you know?
Oh no.
Oh, what?
She makes some hand gestures like in the air.
I mean, it was always just a necessity thing. It was like, I need to fly, so I made myself a big bird. You know? When you're out and about.
Right.
adventuring.
Okay.
I think Luka and I went to the same place.
Yep.
Yeah, no, my brain, no, my brain went to the same place. Elizabeth did not.
I think like there's another long pause, and Carrie eventually just goes, "So did you want to play chess?"
Sure.
Okay. I think Kari produces a chessboard, and we will fade out over that.
Yeah. Teach me how to play chess, Kai.
Wait, but I want to know how well Elizabeth does playing chess.
I'm not proficient in dragon chess.
Yeah. So that is a straight intelligence roll then.
I'm still pretty good at that.
Versus Kari, who is proficient in dragon chess.
Oh my god.
Bad roll.
She absolutely fucking smashes you. 22.
Wow.
Woof.
At which point, Elizabeth, yeah, I suppose at the end, then like Elizabeth's just like, well, in my defense, it has been at least 5 years, maybe more.
I think Kari just like smiles and nods and says, "It's fine. You'll get it."
One day I'll beat you, like overall. That's gonna be a goal.
She folds her arms and smiles and says, "You could certainly try."
I will.
Okay. And I think that is where we will end both the game evening and our evening. So, yes. A shorter session, but a good one.
Yeah.
And with that, hang on, I do have some experience to award if I can bring up my sheet.
Oh my god.
I feel like we actually accomplished a decent amount today, all things
Yeah.
considered.
Yes.
Oh, like we rounded a lot of things off.
Mm-hmm.
Brought them to a close.
Yes, you brought the arc of going away to deal with the incident in Nychaki and the dragon to a close, and you found a peaceful resolution for it as well, which is very good.
Well, relatively peaceful.
Yeah,
We
mostly
did still
peaceful.
kill 20 chromatic dragon boys.
You
Okay,
did.
but they were attacking the village. Like
They were,
Yeah.
but we did still kill them.
We didn't exactly give them a chance to stand down.
No. We did just kind of go in all guns blazing, and then
I
stopped us killing the wounded, and then the wounded were like, by the way, we're in trouble, and we went, oh no!
So everybody can add 3,000 experience points.
Yay!
Woohoo.
That's a nice easy one to add.
It is.
Because now it's just 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I think with that, it's a good place to say thank you all for playing, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye!
Bye-bye.